Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Man, it's a Friday. You know what that means? A lot of Lions. Hey. And on top of that, we had some interesting things pop off yesterday. Pistons preseason action. Redwings opening up the season, taking on the New Jersey Devils. Got to watch all that. And then, of course, I had to indulge in some Thursday night football, unfortunately.
How'd that go?
You know, yeah. I'm getting you a coffee.
That's what I thought. I'd like to hear it.
People are talking about echo.
Let's see. Try now. We'll see.
Yeah, tell me if the echo's going away. I'm not trying to have no echo here.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see. Oh, I got some people that are chiming in now.
Should be better now.
Better? Okay, thank you guys.
Cool.
All right, we're all good. Appreciate you guys for joining the Morning Woodward Show. We appreciate your presence. I'm on the stand this morning. I am. Usually I'm putting others on the stand, but today I'm on the stand. I was on the stand twice actually this week. Ali McNeil we talked about, and now Denver Broncos. Yeah. Russ sucks. Yeah, Russ sucks. Never thought he didn't suck, but man, I thought that game would at least be competitive. I did. But Sam, I want to ask you.
Yes.
Because I need to take the attention off of me as soon as possible.
Okay.
Because Lucas, I admit, whatever you want after the show, I got you. Okay?
I'll take a bagel.
Okay, I'll get you a bagel.
You let Russ cook for a little too long.
Yeah, he burnt the dish, JB. It's burnt. He burned the shit out of it. Are the Chiefs better than the Lions, though, Sam Flannel?
You know what? Maybe I should just cater to the audience right now. Actually, I'm gonna tell you what you guys want to hear. The Kansas City Chiefs, if they lace it up with the Detroit Lions, the Lions would win 10 out of 10. That's probably what you guys want to hear.
Right,
that is the only way that I can satisfy you guys, right? Jalen Goff is not even in Patrick Mahomes' stratosphere. That is how I can satisfy you guys, right? Of course, I'm kidding. The Kansas City Chiefs. If you think they're going anywhere in my next week's power ranking, spoiler alert, you are sadly mistaken.
Wow.
Because here's what happened. The Kansas City Chiefs, for all of you who I know it's coming, Patrick Mahomes didn't play that well. He still completed 30 passes, 300 yards. Travis Kelce had over 100 yards receiving. And in the same light, and Lucas, you will even have to admit that this is fair, he kind of told Sam Laporta, you're not the number one tight end quite yet. It's still my league. I'm Travis Kelce.
He did a little lateral during the play.
He had like 121 yards receiving.
To be honest with you, funny story. As soon as I saw Taylor Swift was at the game, which, by the way, ESPN, can you stop posting Taylor Swift, please? I mean, for the love of God. Nobody wants to see that. But the reason why I bring this up is as soon as I saw Taylor Swift was at the game, I put in those Travis Kelce bets immediately. Because I don't know why. Listen, he's already a terrific tight end. But for whatever reason, when Taylor Swift is in attendance, he plays really well. I don't know why. So I put some money on Kelce, made some money. So thank you, FanDuel. It's going to help me cover some of the costs of Lucas's his bagel there. But regardless, I thought it was interesting, and I texted you this last night, Lucas, that all season long, the Denver Broncos, they had the worst defense statistically in the NFL. And if you know the stat DVOA, essentially they use it to measure defenses. It is what it is. The Broncos had the worst measurement since the measurement started in 1980 something. Like Sherman brought that up on the broadcast. And then you watch the game, and the defense is actually keeping them in the ball game for Denver. All year it's been the defense. On prime time, it's Russ. That's what happened last night. The defense actually played their ass off. I mean, you held the Chiefs to 19 points, and a lot of that was, I mean, you need some context because they only had 16 up until the fourth quarter. And Russ just stinks. A lot of those balls were tipped at the line of scrimmage because he is, he's not the tallest guy in the world. He's about 5'11". But man, Vance Joseph, their defense actually came to play. But then Surtain got hurt, of course. But overall, that offense, it's awful. It really is. It's bad. And they're going to keep trading guys away because they should head right towards a rebuild. The Broncos are screwed. And if Russ is your quarterback for the foreseeable future, You got to figure out something else. And his contract kicks in next year. So good luck with that, Sean Payton and the Broncos. Good luck.
Well, here's the thing. Statistically, Russell Wilson, prior to this game, had actually had a pretty good year. I know it doesn't tell the whole story, but statistically, he was playing well.
Sam.
Hold on. What?
As a guy who fell for it, don't do it.
Okay, but let me just finish.
Okay.
Maybe when Russell Wilson goes up against a damn good defense like the Kansas City Chiefs, they can actually force him into. I mean, Chris Jones got a sack and 3 quarterback hits. I mean, that secondary is obviously very, very good. Nick Bolton got an interception. This Kansas City Chiefs
97 yards, Flannel.
Yeah.
97 yards.
Sam, he was egregious.
But the Kansas City Chiefs defense didn't have anything to do with it.
But
it's the Chiefs. I'm not allowed to say anything about the Chiefs. I'm not allowed to say anything about the Chiefs. So I'm Chiefs fan flannel, right?
No, the Chiefs defense is really good.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to hear.
But hold on. But the Chiefs defense also faced Zach Wilson. And Zach played better than Russ. Like Russ, he played like shit.
He did.
Okay, there you go.
No,
I don't want you. It's all the Kansas City defense.
Do you really think that I was going to deny that Russell Wilson played bad? He was awful. He was egregious. But the Kansas City Chiefs defense is also very, very good. This is the 3rd team this season that they have allowed to 10 points or less, and one of them just happened to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. And this Broncos offense, as I've said before, did put up 33 against Washington and has actually been playing okay. I'm not saying they're a great offense or anything, but this Kansas City Chiefs team is good. I know a lot of you don't want to hear this, and a lot of you don't think they're better than the Lions. And I don't even hate you for that argument. I'm just saying you can't hate me for saying that the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that's 5-1, that lost 1 game to a damn good team in the Detroit Lions without Travis Kelce and Chris Jones, is also good. Is that a crime or something?
No. Listen, Chiefs are good. I mean, it's cute. Like
it's cute.
They're good.
It's cute. You, as a Lions fan, have the audacity to say what the Kansas City Chiefs, who have won 2 Super Bowls in the last 5 years, including last year, is cute. And every single one of you in the chat is going to agree.
Well,
it just drives me insane, bro.
Well, I will say this though. I'll give you a bone, Sam.
Okay.
Rashee Rice is him. I like Rashee Rice a lot.
I wouldn't say he's him, but he's good. He's good.
He tried to give you a bone, Flannel.
I know. Okay, Rashee Rice sucks, actually. I'll take that back.
Rashee Rice, I will say this.
He's the best out of that entire receiving core.
They needed somebody to step up in that wide receiver core this year, and it looks like Rashee Rice might be the one who turns out to be their number 1 wide receiver. Obviously, their number 1 weapon.
I just said that.
But he also has 100 less receiving yards than Travis Kelce.
He's not Travis Kelce.
But
out of the wide receivers, is he better than Sky Moore?
Yes, he is.
Is he better than
Justin Watson? Yes. Is he better than Justin Russ? Yes. Is he better than Kadarius Toney? Yes.
He knows the whole roster. Okay, never mind. But yes, that's my point. I like Rashee Rice. I do.
Okay, and he played very, very
Not saying he's on Justin Jefferson's level. I'm just saying. I like what they have in Rashee.
All right.
He's a rookie this year, so.
You know what? You did throw me a bone, and I just...
He threw it right back at me.
I did. Maybe I was a little out of pocket. And maybe I do get a little bit defensive because I knew what was coming this morning. It's just, if you guys want to put the Chiefs in a body bag, be my guest. They're still going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. You watch.
Okay. I was going to ask you, but you already answered it. I was going to say, are the Chiefs... You think they're the team of previous teams? Are you confident? Because even last year... Like this team, to me, offensively, I mean, they still. And by the way, they showed they didn't need Tyreek Hill yesterday, but I just worry there's a lot on Travis Kelce's shoulders. But thank God you got a run game. Pacheco looks damn good too, so at least there's that.
No, he does.
But I don't know about these guys unless one of them starts really catching a stride towards the playoffs. Could be Rashee Rice. I don't know which of these wide receivers are going to step up. You got like drop machines everywhere.
Yeah,
Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore. These guys drop more balls than they catch.
No,
and you're going to the postseason with them.
And of course, it's a little bit concerning because Kadarius Toney has obviously, besides for the Super Bowl, in which he did have that big punt return and was valuable, he hasn't been what the Kansas City Chiefs envisioned him to be. He's basically been, for the most part, a liability, and I thought that he would emerge into wide receiver 1. But I will say this, and I think we can all kind of break bread on this in the room. That last night, even though Travis Kelce was a little bit banged up and I thought he wasn't going to be 100%, which he probably wasn't, that was the first game this season in which he really looked like prime Travis Kelce. He had his best game of the year. He looked like that dominant tight end, and that's why I said before that he is still tight end number 1. He still leads the league in receiving yards per game by a tight end. And Sam Laporta, he's getting there, and he is definitely having the best start to a career by a rookie tight end ever, but he's not quite, he's going to be fighting with Travis Kelce for the first team All-Pro spot, and I think Travis Kelce will ultimately get it. Is that fair?
Yeah, that game last night kind of statement games. Speaking of your guy, Lucas, Sammy Laporta, He got injured yesterday.
Yeah, what was it? His calf?
Strained
calf?
Which I don't expect him to play after that. I think they probably play it safe. If you have a calf injury 3 days before game day, like I don't think that's something you let him go out there. Is that off? Or
I mean, I don't think you just let him go out there, but I think with a strained calf, that's one of those things you kind of like on Sunday at 3 o'clock, you get Sammy out there running some routes, see how he feels. If he feels all right, see how he feels during the game, and if he's feeling all right, you kind of just work him through. But I think Sam Laporta is a guy that he damn near needs to play, I think, against his Tampa Bay front seven, in my opinion. Like, that's how you keep this front seven honest and not just send in the house every time. And I don't think that's like it's going to be the end-all, be-all. But when you talk about a constant security blanket for Jared Goff to check it down to, and Shaq Barrett, Vita Vea, Devin White, Levante David, Osawama Kamora, I don't even know how you say his last name. He was number 0 when Brady was there. I can't think of how you say it right now, but he's a dog too. Like, there's going to be legit guys that are getting after Goff, and I just think that security blanket is going to be vital.
Yeah, it's what he does in the passing game, Lucas, but you're right. It's also what he does on the run game, like his blocking. I mean, that's something you can.
Taylor would like to ask you a question.
Okay.
It's in the back.
No, I am just fine.
Yo, what the hell?
And you know what?
JB, you're quick, man. What the hell did you get
You are very, very, very quick. And that is a fair question. And I will say this. Maybe I was a little bit quick to get on the defense when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just, you guys have to understand something, chat. I know all of you like the back of my hand. I knew it was coming. And some people already kind of started with the nonsense in the chat. And I thought, Jeff Iafrate, you kind of started off with the nonsense of saying that the Kansas City Chiefs are quote-unquote cute. We as Lions fans cannot call anything that the Kansas City Chiefs are doing as cute.
No, I called the Campbell head.
No,
it's Campbell head now.
I just called the win last night. Like, yeah, listen, it was cute. Like, you got out of there. You know, it was an ugly Thursday night game. Cool. You beat the worst defense in the league. It was cool.
But here's the thing, though.
What else do you want me to say?
All right, so if you guys want to say that the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm going to keep saying this again and again and again because it's true, the Chiefs offense, it hasn't looked like the dominant Kansas City Chiefs offense of even last year, or certainly years like 2018, the year where Patrick Mahomes threw 50 touchdown passes. But their running game, it's still playing very well. Isaiah Pacheco is probably going to have an 1,000-yard season. This defense, and I cannot stress this enough, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have never, as a duo, played with a top 10 defense in their entire careers. And the Chiefs did more to solidify that in last night's game by only giving up 8 points, intercepting Russell Wilson twice, sacking him a bunch of times. And Chris Jones looks like a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He's on pace to set his career high in sacks. And this is a guy who's had 15 and a half, those type of seasons, and is always a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. That's all I'm saying. They may not do some things as well and as fluidly and as flashy as maybe you've seen of Chiefs teams past, but I think in the trenches, they're as good as any Chiefs team, I don't want to say ever, but certainly of the past 5 years. Of the past 5 years. No Frank Clark, no problem.
Oh. No Tyreek Hill, no problem last year, but this year, like...
No Tyrann Mathieu, no problem.
I think it's eventually going to catch up, Sam. No?
I agree. I would be... If the Chiefs get back to the Super Bowl this year with essentially just Kelce, like, don't even convince me. I like Rashee Rice, but dude, Justin Watson went down
after just a blatant drop. Like, I'm not saying he wasn't hurt.
And Watson was like the big playmaker for them. You know, like, think about that. Like, Justin Watson was your explosive playmaker. Sure. Like, regardless,
they're about to Aaron Rodgers this man.
Yeah,
just give him no help.
Yeah.
and rely on it being Patrick Mahomes.
And hold on, this comment too. I want to read this one. It says, Robert Lane, Jeff, you had picked the Broncos yesterday. I did not straight pick them, but you know what? I did pick them plus 3.5. We made it like a little spread.
You were debating on just taking them.
No, well, yeah, and then I didn't want to walk into that. But I did say plus 3.5. I think they at least lose by 3, and I was wrong. They lost by 11.
Yeah.
It was a one-score game at one point. And I was sitting there kind of thinking to myself, well, I hope the Broncos win, so I can talk shit to Sam the next morning. But then there's part of me where it's like, I also don't want him to win because Russ stinks, and I didn't think he deserved that last night to even tie that football game. But continue. Sorry, Sam.
Only the Kansas City Chiefs on this particular show, in which I get mocked all the times for being a Mahomes gobbler, which I am, and that is 100% fair, and I own that, would get penalized in this room. And yes, I said penalized for effect in a game in which they
penal,
in which they allowed a divisional opponent to 8 points, covered a spread. Patrick Mahomes threw for 300 yards. Travis Kelce had over 100, and Chris Jones had a sack.
Cool. Yeah.
And 3 quarterback hits. They get penalized for that in your guys' eyes. The Chiefs are fine. They're going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, and they might even face the Detroit Lions.
Oh yeah, we want that.
Hey.
Are
we sure we ever or in the future want any part of Chris Jones or Travis Kelce
if
problems?
there was going to be a year, it would be this year.
I'll tell you one thing.
We want the smoke.
There you go. You heard him. And I'll tell you one thing. Chris Jones, he's an incredible player.
Yeah.
But the amount of times he got in the Broncos backfield, I'll tell you what ain't happening against the Lions. That offensive line for the Broncos is buns.
Oh, yeah, no.
So at least, I think matchup-wise, Goff's 2-0 against Mahomes.
That's true.
I'm just telling you the numbers. I'm not saying he's better. I'm reading 2-0 against Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, good thing the
One's
NFL.
at Arrowhead. One of those are at Arrowhead.
I mean, good thing the NFL isn't always predicated on head-to-head quarterback matchups.
It's not.
But
It's not. It's just a weird stat.
Just have some data to fall back
Just
on.
a weird stat. I like to bring up. Isn't that weird? Jared Goff 2-0 against Mahomes.
Yeah, and it's the best stat of all. Win-loss.
You're either winning or you're losing. Or tying.
Patrick's losing. The GOAT is losing.
That's
to
how.
Jared Goff.
Yeah, that's how it works. Let's head to break. We get back. We'll get into the Detroit Lions versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. I have the question: what issues do the Broncos pose to the Detroit Lions? Some different matchups. We'll preview all of that and more. A couple other things we want to talk about today because I want to go through it for everybody. 8:30, we'll talk about Jameson Williams because we got to talk about Jameson Williams with Sam Flannel. Let's have the conversation. What do you expect out of him in his second game? We'll be talking about, is this a trap game for the Detroit Lions at 8:45? 9 o'clock, we'll have a special guest with us.
Indeed.
The man.
Chef
the myth, Chef Geach on Instagram. If you don't know who he is, you're missing out. Go look up Chef Geach on all social media platforms and just let the content speak to you.
If you guys follow us on social media, this guy puts together some of the most crazy NFL freestyle. I mean, he's just an artist in general. He makes his own music. But the freestyles that he does with the NFL and just a week-to-week schedule and unpacking it, it's honestly great content. We wanted to have him on the show. He's a big Lions fan. He's from California, but he's in the area right now. So make sure you guys check him out, support him. But he's going to be great to talk to, so we're excited for that.
Yeah, Chef Geach is joining the show at 9. I cannot wait, man. I think he hasn't really done any interviews yet. So
no, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's pretty new.
He deserves all the shine here. 9:16, we'll have Matt Broder join us, the Woodward Sports Network beat reporter for the Detroit Lions, and then of course 9:30 we'll get into our score predictions. We'll find out, who's choosing the Bucks here. Who's the rat? We're going to find out in this room. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Lady Jane's.
Of course, Lady Jane's, where I get my A+ haircuts just like Chris Jones was last night. A+. Come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right, no expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Downtown's newest sports bar, 5 Iron Golf. Let me tell you about them. 13 TrackMan simulators, certified instructors, and most importantly, a full bar and restaurant. 5 Iron Leagues are back, and you can compete nationwide for a chance to win a trip to the Dominican Republic. You bring a foursome or sign up as an individual to be placed on a team at 5irongolf.com. Use code Woodward10 for 30% off that league. It's Woodward10. That is 5irongolf.com to sign up. Let's get into some matchups for the game this Sunday, man. I'm fired up. I can't wait. And I talked about this yesterday. It's the third best team they faced on paper. And it is a good test. It's on the road. You're in Tampa. pretty good defense, especially. That's really the main concern for me, at least. I mean, they got weapons too, and Baker, of course, who's having a career year. But that defense, I believe they have 8 players that have rings on that defense still from when Tom Brady was there. So, like an experienced defense, a defense that have seen a lot. Levante David has been a high-level linebacker in this league for a while.
Oh, yeah.
You got Devin White, who's just a menace, sideline-to-sideline tackling machine, and he likes to get after the quarterback too. So sprinkle that in there. Some matchups, though, I want to go through, and I wrote some matchups down that I thought were really interesting, and I'll get your guys' opinion on this, and Sam, we'll go to you on some things you're looking at. For me, the biggest matchup, because it's what the Lions want to do, and it's what the Bucs want to do, which is the Lions rushing offense against Tampa Bay's rushing defense.
That's a great one.
Lions ranked 7th in the NFL right now currently, at least for rushing offenses. They're 7th. Now, you look at Tampa Bay's run defense, they rank 10. So you talk about a top 10 matchup on offense and defense. The Lions get a good test. Now, you face some decent defenses, but nothing I don't think of this caliber, in my opinion. Because even when you face the Chiefs, to your point, Sam, they didn't have Chris Jones. So I think that was a significant disadvantage. But regardless, the Bucs had a majority healthy defense. Now, the secondary is a little questionable, but that front 7 is real business. They're all business over there. And I think that's going to be an interesting matchup, especially you get Jameer back, expecting. We'll see how he trends. I'm not 100% certain with him. We have to go through the injury report, but if you do, that'll help a lot. But Demont, you're going to have to lean on him a lot this game. Bam Knight's out for the season. Craig Reynolds might get some touches if Jameer can't go. But I think that's the most important matchup. Another one that I like is the Lions' points per game. Offensively, they're 4th in the NFL right now. They average 29.6 points per game. You know how many points the Bucs allow? They allow 17.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
So, another good matchup. You got a high-flying offense, almost averaging 30 for the Lions, and you got a defense for the Bucs who are only giving up 17 a game. That's going to be a matchup, and you're on the road. The next matchup I like is offense versus offense, Bucs and Lions. Red zone efficiency. Not really a matchup, but something to keep an eye on. I thought this was really interesting. The Lions right now in the NFL are 13th in red zone efficiency. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 20th. So, and they've been winning at least the last 2 games. They faced the Vikings and I believe the Bears. And they've only won by like a score, if that. So, again, this isn't a team that can score 30 plus. They're not a high-flying offense. They'll make you play their type of game, which is a nasty, gritty, 2017 type of game. That's how they want to play. So those are the matchups I have to keep an eye on. What about you, Sam Flannel? Anything you got in mind?
You know, those are some really good ones, and you actually stole a couple, but I'm glad you hit on them because I think they're very, very important. But I have a couple of things, and I wouldn't even necessarily say matchups, ways in which the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can give the Lions trouble, because this is a good football team with a lot of good players. And I want to start out with their good players, because this is a team coming into the year. A lot of people said with Baker Mayfield at quarterback is going to be tanking, is going to be 3 wins, is going to be 4 wins. This is going to be an easy win for the Lions, but they have shown this year that may not be the case, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers may also be a playoff team, may also be a division winner. And one of the reasons why is because they just have a lot of talent. They have guys who are going to be Hall of Famers, guys who have been Pro Bowlers, guys who have been All-Pros, guys who have won Super Bowls, like Mike Evans. Mike Evans may or may not play, but he started his career with 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons, and in his 10th year is having as good a season as he's ever had, at least what he's on pace for.
He's always been underrated. To me, he's always been underrated.
Absolutely. Mike Evans will be wearing a gold jacket in Canton when he retires. I think we would all agree. And then Chris Godwin, he's another guy. Their wide receiver, too, has 3,000-yard seasons in his career and is also having a pretty productive year as well. And that'll be a tough matchup, I think, for the Lions secondary, which I don't know if it's ever going to hurt them, but I think it might, not having C.J. Gardner-Johnson or Emmanuel Mosley at some point. This is the type of wide receiver core in which they might be able to exploit some matchups. Do I trust Cam Sutton and Jerry Jacobs? To an extent, yes, because Cam Sutton has played very, very well, and so has Jerry Jacobs, and Jerry Jacobs just happens to be tied for the NFL lead in interceptions, but those are 2 tough wide receivers. And of course they have Tristan Wirfs, who to me is, if Penei Sewell's a gold jacket guy for for the Lions as a lot of people think that he is. I think Tristan Wirfs is a gold jacket guy for Tampa Bay. I think they're about equals when it comes to offensive line, just dominant players, one of the best tackles in the NFL. But one way in which the Lions could kind of counteract that is they have Aiden Hutchinson, who is one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. I don't know if they'll always be lined up mano-a-mano, but when they are, I think it's Aiden Hutchinson can exploit that. I just think against anybody else on the front seven, I think Tristan Wirfs has the advantage against anybody else but Aiden. And of course, you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. They have Antoine Winfield Jr. in the backfield, who is having a damn good year. He's been a Pro Bowler. He's won a Super Bowl.
Antoine Winfield Jr. is one of the most underrated players in football. Flat out.
Yeah, he is.
And you could argue this year, I would say either him or Vita Vea has been their best defensive player. Antoine Winfield Jr. has been balling out. You got Levante David, Devin White, again, Pro Bowlers, all pro players. I don't think they're having the best seasons of their career, and I think Levante David is bordering on over the hill. You could argue that he's on the downside of his career, but these are still players that can cause problems in many, many ways. And of course, I already mentioned Vita Vea, one of the better and more underrated interior defensive linemen in the NFL, who I think might be on pace to have his best season ever. He's been a Pro Bowler. He was a part of those Super Bowl teams. And then you talk about Shaq Barrett, a guy who in his past, I don't know if he's as good as the player that he once was, has been a high double-digit sack guy, has been an all-pro player, has been a Pro Bowler, and was also a valuable member of that Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl team. So I guess, and then when you counteract that, the Lions, of course, have a lot of good offensive players. I think that the offensive line could maybe neutralize or at least keep in check some of the linebackers like Devin White, Levante David, Vita Vea, the like. And then if Amon-Ra St. Brown plays, I think Antoine Winfield, although he'll have an impact on the game, he doesn't necessarily have the best corners around him. I know Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean are names, but especially in the case of Jamel Dean, he's not playing his best football, and Carlton Davis has been injured for part of the year. So I guess my point in all of this is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a lot of damn good players, but so do the Detroit Lions. It's just you can't overlook that this is a very, very talented roster, especially when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense and wide receivers.
Yeah, and the one, I guess, if you look at weaknesses on this football team, Lucas, even though Baker's having a career year, it is Baker. Like, in terms of question marks, like the defense is pretty proven. A lot of proven players, proven talent, proven wide receivers. Offensive line isn't as good as when Brady was there. But Baker's like the one, like I don't know what I'm getting from him.
Yeah, I mean, Baker's definitely suspect. There's that annual Baker Mayfield cycle where he looks really good. He has to prove himself.
Like clockwork.
He doubles down. I'm that guy. You all counted me out. He'll win one more game, which was last week. And then the cycle, it completes itself. Now Baker Mayfield returns to earth. He creates more controversy. All of his teammates hate him. He requests a trade, and he's on to another team the next year. So that's going to happen. I think that's just annually Baker Mayfield. And I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. If the two guys that I'm worried about, Antoine Winfield, if there's no Sam Laporta, because he's just like as Flannel said, he's a dominant guy. And you guys have heard me talk about him before. Rookie wide receiver Trey Palmer out of Nebraska. Especially if there's no Mike Evans. I'm telling you, Trey Palmer is a stud. There's not a lot of film on him, and he's going to get more reps, and he's a big wide receiver. So when you talk about just a possible mismatch, I think that's one of those guys where I don't think this is going to be a sleep game, like a trap game. Like I don't think the Lions are going to be going in there sleeping.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. But I'm saying if somehow they do, if there was a guy to kind of be like, how the hell is this happening? Trey Palmer is going to open up the game. So we got to rely on Cam Sutton, either locking down Chris Godwin. I don't think Mike Evans is going to play, but there's a chance. If he plays, he's not going to be 100%. But the fact is he's bringing out the creamsicle uniforms. The Buccaneers are debuting him. He's never played in them, and he said he was excited to play in orange. So he might be out there. But if they don't, I'm telling you, watch out for Trey Palmer. Antoine Winfield's there, but the Baker Mayfield thing, yeah, I'm not worried about Baker at all. If you put pressure on Baker, which the Lions are going to with how weak this offensive line for the Buccaneers is compared to the past, Baker's going to shrink and make bad decisions.
I just have this feeling that this game, considering also you look at the defenses for the Lions and the Buccaneers, both teams rank in the top 11. Lions are ranked 11th, tied with another team, and the Tampa Bay Bucs are 5th in takeaways. So they're two defenses that take the football away. I have a feeling this game's going to be just a slugfest. Like, I don't think this will be a 30-27 win for the Lions. I think this will be a very low-scoring game. That's just the vibe I'm getting.
Well, and speaking of turnovers, I'll touch on this briefly. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, another thing that you should worry about if you're a Lions fan, if you're a Lions player, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, believe it or not, are tied for first in the NFL in turnover differential at +7, which is absurd, especially through 4 games. And the team that they are tied with is the San Francisco 49ers, which if you're tied with the San Francisco 49ers for anything, you are doing something right. And that is, to me, primarily why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been winning games. The good news is, for the most part, the Lions have played good, clean football throughout the year. But the one game where turnovers really hurt them was the one game they lost. The game that they lost to Seattle. Of course, Jared Goff threw a costly pick 6, and David Montgomery had a fumble in the Lions' own territory, which wasn't all his fault, but it did result in it getting recovered by the Seahawks and then having a 23-yard touchdown drive. Those are the type of mistakes that the Lions could make, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been forcing other teams into, that could cost them this game. I'm not saying that I don't expect the Lions to play good team football, good team clean football, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been pretty opportunistic this year, and that is something that you can't take for granted.
I think this game gets ugly. I really do. I don't like
a blowout.
I think it's going to be like Green Bay. I think it's going to be very similar to Green Bay. I really do. I don't think Tampa Bay is going to establish any running game. It all comes down to Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry. And if that's what you're relying on, it's going to get ugly.
No, I get that. I guess my thought process is just on the flip side, Goff against that defense.
I'm
not that Goff he's not a slouch or anything, but that they're legit.
No, and that's not wrong, especially with Todd Bowles. But I watch Goff look. I have no fear about that after he went into Arrowhead against Steve Spagnuolo and that defense. I understand no Chris Jones, but that's still a
pretty good defense.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just not worried about it, especially when he has less pressure on him, especially too. He's going to have time to cook. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown back. You're going to get Jahmyr Gibbs back. I just don't really see this game being close. Maybe at first, maybe in the first half it's a little close, but I think if that's the case, the second half it'll start to pull away.
Now the other part of it too, for me, if it is a pretty decisive win, I think it'll be like the Falcons, like a 26 win. I don't see it. You think the Lions can put up 30 on the road in Tampa against that defense?
Yeah, especially with J-Mo back. If they get him, I'm not saying if there's many possibilities where I could see the Lions putting up 30.
This one says Kiazi says Jeff, stop worrying. I'm not worrying. I'm just trying to be realistic here. I don't want to sound like a slappy and every week say the Lions are going to blow this team out. You know what I mean? I'm trying to look at it objectively, which this defense for Tampa. Now, context and who they played, but still, they're a damn good defense. Now, there's holes and things you can expose, but linebacker, the front seven is legit. Vita Vea is a behemoth of a human being, and you're going to run on him. So you're going to have to find a way to do that. So I don't want to just act like, the Buccaneers, the 3-1 division leading Buccaneers, are going to blow them out. I don't think that's going to happen, especially on the road at 4 o'clock. I think it's some injuries, like Sam Laporta could be out. There is some concern there. Yeah, I mean, for me at least. I think they still win, but not a blowout.
And I'm glad you said that. Both things can be true. I mean, we can all expect the Lions to win this game. More on our predictions a little bit later on in the show. But if you think that the Lions are just going to go in there and dog walk the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm not saying that's what you're saying, Lucas. It's just that with no trouble whatsoever, I think you might have another thing coming, because the Buccaneers this year, they have stopped the run, although they haven't faced a rush offense the caliber of the Detroit Lions, which is very, very fair.
And not to cut you off, I want to keep so you can keep going, but my thing is, the game that makes me feel completely confident about this is how bad they looked against Philadelphia at home, and they had no answer whatsoever for DeAndre Swift and that Eagles offensive line.
No, that is an excellent point, because the one rushing offense that they played, which was the caliber of the Lions or better, DeAndre Swift ran all over them, and the Buccaneers got blown out, and that is 100% fair. But they have, for the most part, stop the run. They have been very, very good at not allowing points, which is the ultimate goal of a defense, and they've turned the football over. They have turned other teams over, and they have not turned the football over. Maybe the Lions exploit everything that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do well, and I wouldn't be shocked if they do. It's just, if you're thinking that the Buccaneers could be a tough game, you're not a hater.
No.
I'm kind of defending you, Jeff. You're not a hater.
No. And for this comment, Shot says, what's wrong with being confident in your team? The Lions fans being realistic is just another word for saying I'm scared and prepared to lose. That shit is lame as hell. No, I wouldn't go that far. I'm prepared to lose, and I'm being, I'm skeptical about the Lions. It's nothing to do with that. I'm just trying to put respect on the opponent.
Sure.
You have to. Yeah. I mean, the Packers. Even me, at the time, I was like, I don't know what Jordan Love is, but the Lions are far better of a football team. I didn't think the Packers were going to beat the Lions, but you have to look at this thing, try to be objective here. But I get what Shot's saying. you guys can be confident in your football team. I'm not telling you can't. Lions are a damn good football team, and it's not the same Lions team of the past. So I'm glad people are changing their mindset, because for a long time it was they're going to lose because they're the Lions. That narrative does not exist anymore. Regardless, though, let's go to break here. When we get back, we'll talk more about JMO, because I do want to get into that conversation. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Dispo.
Dispo, of course, the best cannabis place where you can possibly get your cannabis. Let me just... There we go. Experience Dispo Romeo, a team that curates an exclusive atmosphere mixed with fresh inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products. The first ever cannabis mall of its kind is conveniently located off of Van Dyke and 32 Mile Road in Romeo. Dispo Romeo is now open late night until midnight every day except Sunday. Can it get any better than that? Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Let's talk about Mark White and Associates. Minute-to-minute listing agreement. You can visit them at markwhite.com. Get the best deals in town. Or you could just give them a call at 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com.
Yeah, Cam.
Jameson Williams. Let's talk about him, shall we?
Let's.
Playing in his second game this season. He's going to play more than 28 snaps, whatever the number was he played last week. And... you know, I have a couple things to say, and I want to get to what Ben said about JMO because it kind of ties into what I'm going to say. And to this comment here, I want to read it off. Chuck Brewer says, if JMO can't get 200 yards and 5 TDs on Sunday, he's a bust. We should cut him.
Oh, my, Chuck Brewer, that is such a straw man. It's ridiculous. How about get 3? How about get 3? How about that? 3. He had 2 last game.
Well, this is... tell me if I'm off on this, Sam. I'll let you go, but I want to say this is how I thought about it last night, because I was prepping for the show, and I was thinking to myself, and I was like, how should I approach this JMO topic? And how I thought about it was this. Look at it from this perspective, okay? You have a good football team without Jameson Williams, okay? You've been getting production in the passing game without Jameson Williams. Do I think Jameson Williams could be special? I do. But I don't expect a guy to be force-fed. That's the thing, right? Being force-fed in an already efficient offense on a winning team. So there's like the other part of it is when I see that question, what do you expect out of JMO this week? Here's what I think. I believe JMO makes your offense better by him just being out there. I do. Because of the threat of his speed. I think that's very, if you're the opposing defensive coordinator, that's something you just have to account for no matter what. Same thing with Jahmyr Gibbs if he's out there. Defenses, they have to account for JMO. Now, the trust will come. That's the other part of this thing that I've talked a lot about with Jared Goff, because it has to be organic. The rapport between Jared and JMO, it has to happen organically on the field. I don't want it to happen because, well, he's the 12th overall pick, and it has to happen. For JMO, and listen, he understood the assignment. Ben Johnson, his famous quote, "No, if you don't block, no rock," and he took that and embraced it. And Ben actually spoke about it, and they asked him about his blocking, and Ben said if he continues to block like that, he's going to have plenty of snaps.
Oh.
So he's already doing that. Which is, honestly, that's good coaching. Like, you set a standard, he blocks. Okay, now we can talk about getting you the football. Now, I still have faith he'll come along. But the problem is, speaking of rock, he just has to catch the rock when the play's there. You can't just block. Like, there's also the other part of it. Now, We still have 12 weeks to witness this Jameson Williams experiment. And Josh Reynolds, quite frankly, is holding it down for you as wide receiver 2. Do I want Josh Reynolds to get less targets? No. Do I want Khalif Raymond all of a sudden not get involved in the game plan? No. So there's that. Now for J-Mo, he has to really come in and earn it. I think maybe this week you could have a play where there's busted coverage and J-Mo gets free for a TD. Maybe he catches a touchdown catch or he makes a big play. Who knows? Like the third level of every defense has to account for him on a daily, every single week. There's that chance. And maybe he breaks free this week. I expect him to get a couple catches. Like that would be ideal for him, especially Sam Laporta. But I'm not going to sit here and demand a big game out of J-Mo. We have quite the runway the rest of the season to kind of see how this thing plays out and see if he can still become that second option. Because right now, Sam Flannel, Josh Reynolds, and Sam Laporta are the second option. Second and third options is pretty arguable. So they've been doing just fine with who they have. So I don't think J-Mo should be force-fed. But organically, maybe we could see him get more involved in the game plan this week. But I'm not expecting over 100 yards, 2 TDs. Like these, the guy will come along. He's got 12 games to do so.
Yeah, and all right, you hit on some things that I wanted to hit on as well. So I'm actually going to try to be a little bit more measured and try to break bread with you guys a little bit when it comes to Jameson Williams.
Okay.
But first, a little bit of snark. I don't expect anything from Jameson Williams. Can he get 3 receiving yards? Can he have the sort of production where we're not talking about him getting open or blocking the next day? I think that is fair, but you know what? Here's where I'm at with Jameson Williams right now. I legitimately think, especially with how the Lions rebuild, which was supposed to be a rebuild when he was drafted, has been accelerated to where they had a damn good offense and a winning record last year and are going to win the division this year, basically with Jameson Williams being a non-factor and being out for a lot of it, may make Jameson Williams expendable on this particular team. It may, and here is why. Last season, Jameson Williams was drafted as an injured player, and we all knew that he wasn't going to play for a lot of the year, and I would argue that when he actually got some time, even though it was limited time, I would say he underachieved individually and was pretty much a non-factor. I mean, he only got 2 touches. What that did to this team, in my opinion, last year is it allowed Amon-Ra St. Brown to really, really emerge as the clear number 1, as the top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, as the guy, the unquestioned number 1. And for a guy like Khalif Raymond, who had been kind of an afterthought on this team, to be a productive player, to be second on this team in receiving yards.
He was a special teams player until he got to Detroit.
Of course, and to be a guy that you kind of had to give targets to, who had earned them and who you had to account for. And I also think where Jameson Williams shot himself in the foot a little bit, and you could argue it was a dumb rule. You can say all of that, but I'm not seeing a bunch of gambling suspensions being doled out to other impact players in the NFL. Jameson Williams, I think, may have screwed himself with getting a gambling suspension, because in his absence and in his first game back, this offense has looked even better than it did last year. Josh Reynolds has emerged as a true, maybe number 2 wide receiver.
Yep.
Sam Laporta has emerged as a legitimate, bona fide star tight end. You have 3 guys on this offense that legitimately could get 1,000 yards. I don't think they all will, but Amon-Ra St. Brown is on pace for it. Josh Reynolds is on pace for the high 900s, and Sam Laporta is also on pace for the high 900s. At some point with Jameson Williams, you just have to wonder, there's only one ball. Like you said, are they going to take away targets from Amon-Ra? Are they going to take away targets from Josh Reynolds? Are they going to take away targets from Sam Laporta? I think Jameson Williams, even though it was his first game back, had a golden opportunity to really come back with a bang in last game, in which it was his first game back with no Amon-Ra. But in that game, Josh Reynolds played a great game, 4 catches for 76 yards. Sam Laporta contributed, had 3 for 45 and 2 touchdowns. Khalif Raymond contributed. Marvin Jones even contributed, a guy who had been a disaster this season, who finally welcomed himself to this season. He had 2 for 22. And Jameson Williams was kind of an afterthought. He had 2 for 2. So I don't know if Jameson Williams is ever going to really ingratiate himself to this offense in the way that maybe he was designed to. I'm at the point now, and maybe we can agree on this one, maybe we can't. Some people are going to think I'm crazy. The Lions obviously wanted a receiver when they traded up to get Jameson Williams. I am 100,000 billion% at the point where I think they should have just stood pat and drafted either Christian Watson or George Pickens. Is that fair? Or is that not fair?
I'm not willing to go that far yet. Just because I personally, I only can speak for myself, I'm still high on J-Mo. I still think J-Mo and his speed Now, Pickens is a hell of a player,
Right.
And I want to read this comment because this will, I want to put you on the stand for a second here because Carnage says if J-Mo was on the Chiefs, Sam would be thinking he's a Pro Bowler.
If he had the same production on the Chiefs, I would not be thinking he's a Pro Bowler. This man has literally had 3 receptions for 43 yards his entire NFL career and a carry for 40 yards. That is what I'm talking about. It's not because he's a Lion. It's not because I hate the Lions. It's because I like productive players. And I do not for the life of me understand why Jameson Williams is getting such runway in this town. It's like you can't say, thou shalt not say any negative word about Jameson Williams because you guys think that people like us will only be happy if he gets 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. The man would set a career high for receiving yards in a game if he got 42. He would set a season high in the next game if he had 3. He's done nothing. It's not about the Chiefs or the Lions. God, you guys are so ridiculous sometimes. You see why I get mad at you.
And Flannel, kind of to double down on
Legend
your point,
killer.
like I'm a J-Mo fan, but like my favorite that year, that draft pick, my favorite mock every time, like when I was doing the mock draft, was George Pickens at 32.
Yeah.
So your take for that is not egregious.
Thank you.
But it's just not the situation right now. Like I'm not saying that J-Mo's bad. But to your point, like if you get a guy like George Pickens, we might see different impact. But again, I don't think we've even seen what J-Mo's role in this offense hasn't even been established yet. And whether that's worrisome or not, that's just the fact of it. We still haven't seen what J-Mo can do in this offense.
Yeah, and we can't I hate the hindsight stuff. It's tough because now you're like, yeah, Pickens. But at the time, no, I thought J-Mo's levels above Pickens. I think everyone did, at least his last year at Alabama. So like. It's just, I hate doing that because now you'd say, yeah, we like Pickens. But at the time, nobody was saying, like, when they took J-Mo, it's like, damn, we got Jameson Williams, arguably the best receiver coming out of the draft if he was healthy. So there's that part of it, too. Now, this comment I want to bring up and see what you guys react to it. Kyle Ryan says, currently, I think the ceiling for J-Mo is more of a Gabe Davis role for the Bills.
Well, then it wasn't a good idea to pick him at number 12. And that's why I'm saying, would you rather have moving forward, and I know it's kind of a hypothetical, would you rather have Christian Watson, George Pickens, or a guy whose ceiling could be Gabe Davis? I don't think that is J-Mo's ceiling, by the way, but you're already talking about Gabe Davis as a ceiling. You don't draft Gabe Davis's at number 12
you do
overall.
Not. You do not. I agree with that.
As I said before, where are the targets? Who's going to lose targets? Is it going to be Josh Reynolds, Sam Laporta, or Amon-Ra St. Brown? They both have balled out. They have all been exemplary this year.
Now, if J-Mo organically starts taking targets away from other guys and the offense is still buzzing and he's being more involved, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But I know in no way for people that are like force feed J-Mo, he has to get involved. That I'm not a part of. Like it's a balance for me. I still believe in J-Mo. I still like J-Mo. I still think he's dynamic. I think he could be one of the better wide receivers in the NFL. That's his ceiling to me still. The other part of it is I don't want to take any momentum away from this offense. Like they're already efficient. Everyone's already making plays. Josh Reynolds, Sam Laporta. So it's kind of that balance, Lucas. Does that make sense?
No, it just goes back to just the common saying of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the fact that I think it's a luxury to have Jameson Williams right now because if the Lions were in the Minnesota Vikings position and Jameson Williams was putting up this production, I'd be freaking the fuck out. I'd be like, what the hell are we doing? But the fact that the Lions are winning heals all and it allows J-Mo to kind of, it doesn't put that pressure on him to succeed right away, and I think that's what's going to help him in the long run, where he's like, okay, I'm making mistakes now, but that's not putting a whole bunch of pressure like you're going to get traded, X, Y, Z. It's like, no, make these rookie mistakes, make these second-year mistakes, get him out of your system, and it's not going to mess any of the flow up because he's not on the field every play, and it's a luxury at this point.
Yeah, 100%. Because there are people out there that are like, J-Mo has to get involved. He was drafted 12th overall, force feed him, and he should get 10 targets a game. It's like, all right, dude.
That's like the logical way of thinking about it, but most receivers that are taking 12 overall are not going into like a winning situation. If you're taking 12th overall, it's probably an offense that's relying on you being the number one wide receiver
100%.
And the number one option for that whole offense, and that's just not the case in Detroit. So I think that context has to matter.
Speak Easy, shout out to Easy, says he will be a Deshaun Jackson type. But here's the thing, though, about Deshaun, and maybe I'm crazy for this, but I think he can be better than Deshaun just from this standpoint, because Deshaun was, you knew Deshaun's speed was always a threat. He was making plays down the field. He was stretching the field, right? And I think J-Mo can do that. But I think J-Mo would have more of a route tree. Like, I'm confident in J-Mo being more of a complete receiver. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But I don't think he should be a one-trick pony. I think I'd be disappointed if he was. Like, he's just the guy that maybe every other game he's got one or two plays downfield, and that's essentially what he does. I think he can run essentially every route on the route tree. That's what you really, when you take a wide receiver at 12, Sam, that's what I expect out of him.
I mean, many things can be true. At this point, if Jamison Williams becomes Deshaun Jackson and this Lions team reaches its ceiling, which would be a Super Bowl, I would be doing backflips. I'd be doing backflips regardless if they win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'll take the career of Deshaun Jackson.
Regardless of J-Mo. It's just, you're right.
The player,
I think Jamison Williams, the talent, is much more than Deshaun Jackson, the talent. It's just their speed and game-breaking ability, I would say, is similar in terms of talent. But he's got a long way to go before you can even consider Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, and Deshaun Jackson had a hell of a career, but he was also drafted in the second round.
Right.
So, we'll see. We'll see with Jamison Williams this week. Again, I expect him to get involved, but he should not be force-fed. I think it should be organic. He has to earn Goff's trust, and maybe he'll do that this week. Maybe he breaks free for a play, catches a TD. He's blocking in the run game, and maybe good things happen, but we shall find out. Let's go to break. We get back. We'll have the conversation. Is this game a trap game for the Detroit Lions? We posed that question last week when we were talking about, Carolina, we were talking about a trap game, but even Green Bay. We've had this conversation, but I think out of all the games being referred to as a trap game, this could be the one because they are better than the Packers. They are better than the Carolina Panthers. So we'll have that conversation. But first, I got to hear about our friends over from Guardian Alarm. So,
absolutely. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
For over 60 years, Fairway Pack & Co. has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop at Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks or order online at fairwaypacking.com. Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. If you can do us a favor, hit the like button on the stream. We're only 13 away from 100 likes, so it does support us. It supports the network and helps the algorithm for the morning show, so thank you for that. The other part of it is, if you can't watch the show live, it's okay. You can catch us on any podcast platform. You get your podcast, Morning Woodward Show, leave a 5-star review. I want to ask the question, is this game, would you consider it a trap game? What's your concern level? Are the Lions, not the Lions team, but maybe Lions fans overlooking the Buccaneers? Because I know this Lions team with Dan Campbell, they don't really overlook anybody. That's kind of how, that's been the narrative since he's been here. But any concern that this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team at home could sneak up on the Lions, Sam?
Well, of course there has to be concern about this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, and I do think there are some, not all, but some Lions fans who are just kind of like Baker Mayfield. The Lions, of course, got to beat Baker Mayfield, and I get that to some extent because I've said many times before, I hate Baker Mayfield more than anybody. He is my least favorite NFL player of all time, but many things can be true. That can be true, and Baker Mayfield can have had a lot of bad moments, and he did ultimately fail in Cleveland, and he failed miserably in Carolina, but he's also had some good moments, and he's playing pretty damn well this year. He's at least playing within the offense, and he's not turning the football over, which the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as I mentioned before, are +7 in turnover differential. For me, it can't be a trap game, and I don't think the Lions will treat it as such because this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team might be a playoff team. They're a division leader right now. To me, it is more important that the Detroit Lions focus on and win this game at Tampa Bay than even the next game at Baltimore. You do not want to fall to the 4 seed in the NFC even at this point in the year with Tampa Bay holding the tiebreaker. You want to kind of firmly cement yourself as not only the 3rd best team in the NFC, which we all know they already are, but the 3rd seed in the NFC, to where we're just talking about 49ers, Eagles, and Lions. And if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win this game, maybe the Buccaneers, even though they're not as good as the Lions, can get some hope that they can get the 3 seed. You want to beat this team, because I'll tell you what, and this is why I think the Lions should win this game. One of the reasons, and I want to throw this out there because I forgot to get to them in keys. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers can't run the football at all. No. Not even a little bit. They are 8th worst in the NFL in rushing yards per game, and their starting running back is Rachaad White, who has 206 yards on 3.3 yards per carry in 4 games, but that yards per carry is just morbid. And the Buccaneers' second leading rusher is Baker Mayfield.
Is it really?
It is Baker Mayfield with 61 yards. They don't even have a number 2. Think about that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't even have a number 2 running back, and the Lions have David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Craig Reynolds, all who have had some level of production, which is, I mean, it just shows that. But the Lions defense, the Lions rush defense is 3rd in the NFL in rushing yards allowed per game, and they have legitimately shut down Isaiah Pacheco, Kenneth Walker, Bijan Robinson, Aaron Jones. The Carolina Panthers ran it on them a little bit, but it was in a game where they lost by 18, and it was the least impactful 99 rushing yards I think I've ever seen in a game. So I'm going to count that as a shutdown too. The Detroit Lions, I think they can shut down Rachaad White. Yep. I think Rachaad White gets less than 20 yards.
Yeah, and for all the reasons,
less than 20.
For all the reasons you brought up, I agree with you. Now, the part, I'm glad you went the way you went, Sam, because I actually don't think this should be a trap game at all. I think if you're a good football team, there should not be trap games. I mean, you look at the Eagles, they faced the Commanders. How'd that go? Trap game. Ended up winning. Like, I know it was scary for a minute there, and of course Ron Rivera took a bonehead decision for him not going for 2 to go to overtime there. But regardless, the point is, if you're a good football team, and I think the Lions are, I think they're one of the better teams in their conference, the Buccaneers should not be a trap game. You are a better football team than them, point blank. Now, the injuries could also, factor into being worried. I get that. And I think having injuries are a part of the game. But the Detroit Lions have proven time and time again, in the trenches at least, they're winning these battles. And I think against the Buccaneers, even against that defensive line, the Eagles had success doing it. But I think the Lions can as well. I do. And this defense has something to prove. And you've seen them this year. They're still top 10. So, it's a good year to be a Lions fan. But on top of that, I think this matchup does favor the Detroit Lions. So, therefore, I do not think this will be a trap game. Let's head to break. When we get back, we got a special guest. Very, very special guest joining us live in studio here. And you guys are going to want to stick around for that. Because let me tell you something. If you've been on Instagram and you're a Lions fan, you know who this man is. When we come back, we'll introduce him to the show. But before we do that, I got to tell you about Big Boy. Because, listen, burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. You can try the cheeseburger, a new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. They got chicken, they got fries, they have dessert as well. You can get all that and more at Big Boy.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Let's talk about Outdoor Equipment Company, official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. Bad boy mowers, tractors, STYL handhelds, and even weed whippers. Liberty trailers, Generac generators, Snow X plows, and salters. Outdoor Equipment Co. has it all. Buy it, rent it at 0% financing. Delivery to your doorstep, OutdoorEquipCo.com.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. It's a special time of the show, and I've been waiting for this. I have, personally. And me and Lucas have been waiting for this. The man, the myth, the legend. If you know who he is, you're under a rock. I don't know what you're doing. If you're on Instagram, welcome to the show, Chef Geach, the man behind all the NFL recap videos that have been popping off. We had a couple of them on Woodward Sports as well. Number one, I want to ask you, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing wonderful this morning. Had a long flight last night, so I got in late last night, but I'm up, I'm ready. I'm on my favorite network right now.
Let's
showing
go.
me love. Woodward Sports, let's get it, man.
I want to ask you, before we get into the NFL stuff, for you, when did you know, at what point, because I don't know how long you've been a musician, but at what point did you think, like, yeah, I got this. I can do this. I'm talented at this.
Right from the jump. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Like, I thank God every day. It's a blessing. It's like a talent that he gave me. You know, I work hard at it, too, to increase my talent, but from the jump, like, it's been a long road. I've been doing it for like 10 years now, but from the very beginning, you know what I'm saying, I just knew. You know, I tell my dad all the time, it's a thin line between common sense and confidence. And it's like, I'm like confident about what I do, but it's kind of common sense what I do too, you know, like.
And how did the NFL recaps come along? Because listen, I've seen a couple out there, but nothing like you're doing. And I know Simba did it, and we could talk about that. Because I was in that comment section too, man. I was trying to defend you. But how did the NFL recaps come to be?
So my camera guy, his name is Roger, Shooters Club LA. We are big sports fans. We go all day in the text messages about he's from Boston, so he's a Patriots fan, and I go about my Lions. So we go back and forth, and then one day he was just like, man, you write raps so fast. Like, I've never met nobody to write raps so fast. He was like, you know what you should do? I don't know if you're going to like it, though. I was like, what? And he was like, you should write about the NFL every week. And the day he told me, it was like one day, it was Wednesday, and I was like, well, tomorrow is week 2. He was like, well, you better start right now. I was like, oh, man. So I wrote it, and he was like, I did it. He was like, all right, I'm coming over shooting. And we shot it and did it and dropped it. I believe that Wednesday was the first one, week one.
And you haven't looked back.
I haven't looked back. I didn't expect it to do what it did, though, honestly. I never expected that. I thought it was going to generate and kind of grow gradually, like 20,000 views, 30,000 views. Never expected. The first one got 200,000 views, and then we've been skyrocketing ever since.
Oh, yeah. And you are so good at what you do. I got to just say that, first of all, I got introduced to your videos, and I'm just like, man, because not only, like, can you obviously spit and flow as well as you do, but you've got all the facts and everything. It's like,
he's got receipts.
How much preparation does it take in terms of kind of knowing what's going on in the NFL to make a video like that?
Well, I'm blessed to have friends that are sports. Like, I'm a sports fan, but my friends outweigh me in sports, like, by a long shot. I got my brother. He's a football coach for high school, Thurston High School, so he's been in football his whole life. So it's good when you're in a group chat and people are all day and everybody's got ticket, you know what I'm saying, NFL ticket to watch all the games, and everybody's like, man, did you see this play? Did you see this play? So that helps a lot too. And then I watch all the highlights. It's just a natural thing, though. I will say I don't have to put too much work into it because it's something I love.
No, it's something you love, but I mean, you're great at it. But more than that, I mean, people like Simba, and I love Simba too, but I saw him do the same thing, and I want your reaction to how you felt when you first saw it, because I know, at least from a competitive standpoint, you're like, damn.
Man.
But he's good at it, but you're the one who started it, and to be honest, like, he even showed you love. I saw you were talking after.
So, Simba, when he did it, I hurt my soul. As an artist, man, because we try so hard to climb. Like, I've been rapping for 10 years, and it's been so difficult to showcase my talent to the world, find something that's my thing that I can show people that I really know how to do this. And now that I finally found it, and then for somebody that's already established to just, you know what I'm saying, I don't want to say take it and run with it, but taking it around with it.
On his platform.
Yeah, on his platform. I'm like, man, but you know what I'm saying? Everything comes full circle. So he actually ended up reaching out to me, and all I can say is be on the watch out for week 6. It's something special coming. Something special coming week 6.
Gosh,
so
that's big time.
Be prepared for week 6.
I want to ask you, for people that, I mean, if you don't know, you're in the wrong there, but you actually do music on the side, great music. Like, I know the NFL recaps are what pops off, but you're an artist at heart, and you do other music. But on the Lions fan part, how long have you been a Lions fan? How did that come about? Because I don't hear too many Lions fans out in Cali. Like, it's hard to find them in Detroit.
Well,
So
I've been living in California for about 3 years, but man, I've been a Lions fan since a kid. We all are Lions fans, no matter how bad they've been. Like, we are some of the most loyalist fans ever. Like, we've been waiting for this moment forever. So I've been a Lions fan since I'm one of those. I'm a Detroit fan all around.
There you go.
I'm not one of those guys that's like, okay, it's the Super Bowl. Who you picking? Like, no, if my Lions aren't in it, I don't care who wins. If my Pistons aren't in it, I don't care who wins. If the Redwings, I'm a Detroit fan, die hard. That's just at heart. I don't play about my city.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, for the Lions, though, this season, what you think? Now, we talk a lot about the Lions here, but for me at least, like, I picked 11 wins, but they're a damn good football team, better than what we all expected. You go in Arrowhead, you beat the Chiefs, they got the Bucs this weekend. Your thoughts on just the season and how far you think they can go? We talking Super Bowl? Where are you at right now with the Lions?
Man, my heart says Super Bowl. My heart says Super Bowl, and my mind says Super Bowl too. We're going to the Super Bowl. Like, I don't see nobody like, all right, we in the toughest conference this year. I will say the NFC outweighs the AFC this year, I feel like, by a good margin. Like, we got some difficult tasks coming up. 49ers aren't nothing to play with. Cowboys still are, but they're the Cowboys, so we're not worried about that.
True.
And then, of course, we got who else is in the NFC right now making noise?
Eagles still are.
Oh yeah, the Eagles are still. Yeah,
See, you forgot about them. That's what they're doing this year.
Yeah, it's like the Eagles are still the Eagles, but it's like I think that we're on the right path, and even if we come short this year, which I don't think is going to happen, we're on the right path for creating a dynasty, a legacy for the first time. We're in good spirits with Barry. We're in good spirits with Megatron. Everything is just coming full circle right now for us. It's good karma coming to us now.
And no question.
Yeah. So as a lifetime Lions fan, which we all are, we have all seen a lot of really, really bad football in our lives. And even when the Lions have been good, they've kind of flamed out in 1 year in the playoffs and like one game in the playoffs and haven't been able to sustain it. So how much are you enjoying watching this? And obviously you kind of already answered the question because you want to see them, you think they can go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
How much have you enjoyed the ride?
Because now you go in every game expecting them to win.
I really wish that I had I got to start getting behind the scenes footage of me watching the games. You wouldn't. I'm this close to getting kicked out of my apartment. I'm going crazy every game. Even if it's a bad play, I'm saying words. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going crazy, 4-letter words everywhere if we mess up. But man, we've never seen we're in the group chat literally do y'all see this?
Yeah.
We've never seen this. It almost brings tears to my eyes, man. Do y'all see this?
Yeah, no.
This is crazy.
Tears is actually spot
I
on.
swear. I'm oh my God. I can't believe it still to this moment, but it's long overdue. We kind of experienced this with the Pistons, even with the Red Wings, even with the Tigers when we had our run. We was going to the championship series all the time, coming up short. Man, finally.
Yeah, no question. One question for you. Speaking on the team, any of the rookies you like? I know we talk a lot about Sam Laporta. That's Lucas's guy. He's been loving Sam. Brian Branch. Anybody that stands out to you? You've been
those
loving
are
this
my
team.
two.
Yep.
Sam and oh my God, BB. BB is a beast.
Yeah, he is.
BB is one of the hardest hitters in the game right now. Period. Just off his rookie season. I know Sam had a little injury.
Yep.
Came up just recently, and BB still got the ankle thing going on, so I hope that they can bounce back. That's one thing I'm just crossing my fingers for every game, is just hoping that everybody can stay healthy, hoping that the rookies can stay healthy and have longevity in their career. So I love BB and Sam, man. Those are my main two. Outside of my Lions, I can name some others, but I'm going to just stick to us.
What do you think now for Sunday? We talked about the game, and we were talking about could it be a trap game for the Lions? Where are you at with the Buccaneers? How do you rank them? Could it be a trap game?
It's a tough game.
Yeah.
We're going there, so that's tough. That's a tough environment. I used to live in Florida, so Tampa Bay is definitely a tough environment.
No concern though.
I don't know. I think it's it kind of reminds me of the Seahawks situation. The Seahawks I think the Seahawks are a more difficult task. But I think that being there is why I rival it with the Seahawks situation, because we're away. As long as we stick to our game plan, Dan plays aggressive but not too aggressive.
Yeah, I like that.
I feel like we can make it happen. I know we're short on cornerbacks this week, and it's a tough task with Godwin and Mike. It's gonna be some tough tasks for those corners, but I think we got it. I don't have any doubt in my mind that we got it. I think we got it for sure.
I love that.
All right, Chef. You're obviously cooking up in the musician realm, but the Lions have a chef of their own in Brad Holmes. And he's got a big decision to make here soon. Do you re-sign Jared Goff or not? That's what he's dealing with. In your opinion, this is assuming Jared Goff wins a playoff game, because I think we all have confidence that he will.
Call me crazy, and I swear this isn't just because we winning right now.
What you think?
I love Jared more than Matt.
Okay.
I love Jared more than Matt. Jared, minimal mistakes. He seems like he plays to whatever the game plan is. I like his leadership. I like his accountability. I love Jared, man. I'm signing him. I'm re-signing him, man.
Look at that.
I'm re-signing him, man. I'm re-signing him. Give him the bag. Bring him back, man. Like, let him ride out. I say ride the whole career out. Ride the whole career out, man. I love Jared.
So when you hear like people that are concerned with, if you re-sign Jared Goff, now you can't re-sign Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Aiden Hutchinson, et cetera, what is your reaction when you hear that?
Honestly, the way I watch like a lot of their interviews, like the single player interviews.
Yeah.
I feel like they understand what's happening right now and how special it is, to the point that, I mean, I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, got their own lives personally, but if people got to take cuts, then people will take. I feel like our team is the team to do that. Just like the Jets and people were over there taking cuts to make sure that they got to the goal. I feel like people are understanding that, because one thing about the Lions that I didn't realize until now is that we are everywhere. Like, that Lambeau thing was crazy.
Yeah, they travel. I think Tampa could see a lot of Lions fans too.
Man,
a lot of Michigan, they go to Florida.
And I think
already.
that the players are seeing that, like, no, we got something special. Like, even when teams that have been bad and are now good, like for Cincinnati, for example, I mean, they traveled a lot too, but I think we're on a different level of like fan base, and I think the players see that. So hopefully we can get Sun God back, but definitely give Jared the bag, man. Give Jared the bag,
I love that.
man.
He's saying, these guys are on a different level, man. You're on a different level, Chef Geach. You really are. I want you, anything you got coming up, anything you want to promote, any new music?
I really just want everybody to stay tuned for all these weeks. I'm going to ride out the whole season, playoffs. We're going to the Super Bowl, so I'm going to be there for that.
Get this man.
I'm going to go the whole way, so I just want people to stay tuned, and then once the sports season is over, I got my album coming out, Saffron, my Vice, and I got some more works coming on between me and Roger at Shooters Club LA. So check us out. We got a lot of work coming on soon.
I can't wait, man.
Yeah.
Just keep crushing. Seriously, you're holding everyone here, at least locally. We're like, Chef Geach, we're showing the videos to each other.
The
like,
Lions
it's different.
players I even saw commenting under the videos now too.
Some Lions players showing love too.
Yeah, I definitely seen Jerry Jacobs just commented on the last one. So I'm waiting on that. I'm waiting on that Aiden and that Jared Goff comment. But
after this clip, Jared's about to be like, hey, I like Chef Geach, man. I like Chef Geach.
I like that.
You can check out Chef Geach on all social media at Chef Geach, Instagram, YouTube,
We're
you name
popping
it.
it on the
He's on
screen
there
right now. So everybody that's curious where to follow him, it's on the screen right now. Show the man some love.
Shout out to you. Shout out to your team, man. I appreciate you joining the show.
Shout out to you guys for showing me love every week, posting me, giving me all the respect and all the, man, I appreciate you guys so much. I've been watching you guys for a while now, and to be up here is like a dream for real.
Yeah, it's big time,
you
man.
You guys are doing y'all thing. Thank you.
Hey, we promote talented people, so it's all you, man. We appreciate you.
it,
We'll go to break. When we get back, we'll talk more. We'll be joined by Matt Broder, the Woodward Sports Beat reporter for the Detroit Lions. We'll talk more about the Bucs game. But first, I got to hear about our friends from Swiss Insurance.
Of course. Do you have football on the brain? I know we all in this room do. And fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year has been pretty damn awesome. Fall's also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177. Swiss Insurance.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests, for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Les Stanford. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? They expand and offer more products to people. That's exactly what Les Stanford does by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford or Dearborn today. Find the brand you want at lesstanford.com. Quite the seat to fill there. Matt Broder joining us after Chef Geach. No, I'm just kidding. Matt Broder joining us, Woodward Sports, beat reporter for the Detroit Lions, breaking down the game this Sunday for us. You're going to practice later. He was at practice earlier in the week. Broder's been locked in. He's been busy. He's got Woodward nights. I mean, the guy's he's a man
been all over the place.
He's a man of multiple different crafts. He is the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Broder. How you doing, Matt?
Dude, after that interview, man, I'm jacked up. What a great experience having Chef Geach in here.
Yeah,
and the dude knows Lions. He's a ball knower for sure.
Ball knower. And he can spit.
Yes.
At a high level.
There's a thin line between confidence and common sense.
That's a bar.
Ooh, he started with that.
I wrote that down.
Let's go.
I wrote that down.
Use that on Neil later.
Yeah, that's a bar. Chef Geach again. Start us off, Broder.
Yes.
Just from the injury updates. Could you give us an update on a couple guys? I know Jameer's been dealing with a little injury, his status, but Sam Laporta especially, because that was recent.
Yeah, that's the one we're still kind of fighting for some details on what happened. He has a calf injury, and he wasn't out at practice. It was a surprise to everyone down at Allen Park yesterday because he looked fine the day before. So we're just curious what's going to happen. Dane Campbell speaks. I believe it's 11:30. So we're hopefully going to learn more very shortly. But yeah, that's the one that kind of came out of nowhere. So I don't know how serious it is yet, but we'll see. I'm hopeful that he still has a chance to play. But I heard you talking earlier in the show, a calf injury. You want to be careful with that. There's too much connected to the calf and Achilles and things. Rather Sam Laporta just take it easy.
Yeah, agreed there.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Broder, I know that this is a game in which I think we all, as Lions fans and you as a Lions insider, think that they should win. But is there any player or position group on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that concerns you that could maybe give the Lions some trouble?
It does. It's that linebacker core.
Yeah.
Levante David, Devin White, Shaq Barrett. Those are some pretty beastly linebackers. They play a 3-4, and they got Vita Vea right there in the middle.
A behemoth.
A behemoth. And I would say him probably any other team, any other week except the Eagles. I just have faith in Frank Ragnow and that offensive line, so I'm not going to go the Vita Vea route. But that linebacker crew, you were talking about takeaways earlier. Tampa Bay is near the top of the league in takeaways, and guys like Levante David, that's what he does. Like that's what he's done his whole career. He goes and gets the ball. So I know Jared Goff and the offense, they've been pretty sure-handed recently. Maybe only one interception a couple of weeks. They've started to control their fumbling, some of those timely giveaways on the offensive end. So I think that's going to be a big part to this game that they got to make sure to control.
Did you hear my take on J-Mo?
Remind me.
So, because I want your thoughts on J-Mo this week, because it's a big conversation. Me and Sam discussed it. My thought process is this, and it's kind of twofold. For me, J-Mo, I think, could still be special. I think he's dynamic. I think he makes your offense better when he's out there. But then there's the other part of it, Matt, and I know you would agree because Josh Reynolds has been your guy since the beginning.
Yes.
You called it. He was going to step up. This offense is efficient. They got guys that are producing, playing above our expectations. So I don't want it to be I don't want J-Mo to be force-fed for him to produce. To me, it has to be organic. And Goff is a guy like many other quarterbacks where he has to trust you. And I think J-Mo has to earn that trust. But I don't think he should be force-fed or put into this offense. And since he's the 12th overall pick, you have to feed him the ball. I think he has to go out there. Maybe he can, there's a busted coverage for him to get a 40, 50-yard touchdown, whatever it is. But I'm not expecting some big game, 6 catches for 100 yards out of J-Mo.
Yeah, I really like that take because I don't believe J-Mo, if he ascends to be a number one receiver, I don't believe he's that typical or traditional number one where you got to get him the ball 10, 12, 13 times for 175 yards on a bunch of deep routes. Ben Johnson in his offense, he's going to work it in naturally. He's going to work it in organically. Getting J-Mo the ball in different places all over the field, it's not something where he's going to be force-fed. They're just going to try to force a deep throw. They're going to get him on short screen. They're going to do an end around. They're going to get him on a slant, and he's that guy who could take any ball. Anytime he gets his hands on it, he needs to catch it first, yes. But anytime he gets his hands on it, he's a threat to take it to the house. And I do believe J-Mo's special, and I know there were some comps going out there. I'm more in like the Randy Moss comp in terms of how he can take over, affect the game. I'm not saying he's Randy Moss now.
Sam's mind immediately went
to
yeah.
I'm just saying Randy Moss was one of those guys. He was probably better at the deep ball than J-Mo, but he could take it to the house from anywhere on the field. Just get him the ball.
Yeah, which is fair.
Randy Moss.
Yeah, brother. And so a question, kind of an injury update. Donovan Knight was announced that he's out for the year now.
Yeah.
And obviously it's not like a huge piece because we have David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, and even Craig Reynolds. But do you think the Lions will or / need to go add another running back to that running back room?
I
sign Kerryon Johnson.
Oh my God! and the double knee brace.
No offense to Kerryon Johnson, but that was actually kind of a stray. But sorry, man.
No problem. Throwing strays at Kerryon.
He's a good dude.
Well, if Scotty Montgomery doesn't want to get back on the field and play because he's got that energy, he could. I'd say. I sort of do think they need another running back, at least a fourth. If you're going to move Craig Reynolds into that number 3 running back spot, I still think you need one more insurance option, even if he sits on the practice squad. They do have Devin Ozigbo on the practice squad,
That's what I was gonna ask.
But I do think they might need one more piece. And I say that just if David Montgomery's going to be that bell cow back that Dane Campbell and the offense is proving that he is, you need an insurance out. He's going to be banged up at some point through the season. He's already missed a game, so whether this new guy we bring in, if that happens, contributes this season or not, I just think from an insurance standpoint, you got to have that sort of third active running back.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, like that's fair. And I didn't even know Ozigbo. That's his last name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we saw him in preseason. We were at the game.
Man's got wheels. He's got wheels. It's just an injury concern with him. I believe he got hurt in preseason. Isn't that right, brother?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, but they do have a lot of faith in Craig Reynolds, so I don't know if they go that route, but it's do they believe Craig Reynolds could fill in for 2-3 games in a row if there's some type of injury?
Netflix.
All right, Matt Broder. So you mentioned Randy Moss and J-Mo. I had to come back to that. I had to come back to that because Coquet in the chat, somebody who came at my throat this week. We can actually break. We can actually. Pause. We can actually break some bread on this one. Coquet, I'm not on the J-Mo's a bus train, which I'm not either quite yet. But comparing him to Randy Moss, oh come on! I'm not saying you compared him to Randy Moss, but you bring up J-Mo and Randy Moss in the same sentence. Like maybe Randy Moss is the prototype, maybe like or something like that. But Randy Moss, to me, you could argue he's the second best receiver who's ever played NFL football.
Yes.
And you guys can also say in the same sentence, Jamison Williams in the last game, 2 catches for 2 yards. It's fine. He may get involved in the offense. He may not. Oh, but he got open and he blocked. How can you reconcile those things, Broder? How?
Randy Moss.
Because
can you just rephrase? I get where you're going, but can you rephrase the question?
You bring up Randy Moss and J-Mo in the same sentence.
Yeah, I believe it.
But you don't seem to have really that high of expectations for him going into this game, or you don't seem to have any problem with him having 2 catches for 2 yards and getting just basically slobbed over first blocking.
Yeah,
I don't like that. I'm sorry, Broder. I love you, man, but I don't like that.
No, that's fine. And I just think his ceiling is Randy Moss-like. I think J-Mo can be a top 3 most electric player in the entire league. He's that fast. He's that good. he's still very raw, and he's got some issues that he has to work out. It's not there yet. His game's not there yet. His rhythm with this offense and this team isn't there yet. But if you think he doesn't have that ceiling and that potential, you haven't seen him play. J-Mo is that special, or he can be that special, to be determined if he puts it all together. But I think he could be like that.
All right. I mean,
because I
gotta see it.
Let me try and be the voice of reason. I think you're saying the impact of J-Mo. You're not saying he's Randy Moss.
Oh, yeah, no.
You're saying his ability to stretch the field and be explosive and make that type of impact with 100%. His speed. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Lucas, what do you got for us? You got a question?
Yeah. So kind of just a little update on Amon-Ra St. Brown. We know he was out last week, but what was it? It was an abdominal injury last week, I believe, that held him out. How's he looking? Is he going to be... Do we expect like a full workload? Are there going to be any limitations on Amon-Ra St. Brown, do you think, this Sunday?
I do think we'll see a full workload. I think he's healthy. He looks good. He might have some nagging pain with this abdomen injury that lingers a little bit, but it doesn't appear to be anything serious, anything long-term. The doctors seem to think he's okay coming back, and there's not a very high risk of re-injury or injuries associated with his abdomen pain. So I expect him to be back. I tend to believe that if it was a more important game last week, if it was a better team, he might have given it a go and pushed through that Panthers game. But no, they held him out of that game. They gave him some rest. I expect him to be back at full strength, full workload, especially if Sam Laporta misses. He's got to be that go-to guy again for Jared Goff and Ben.
And real quick, brother, just to kind of double off that, do they know like when that happened? Like what caused that?
I didn't see it either.
It was in the Packers game. They didn't call out a specific play, and I haven't found it yet. But it's at some point in that Packers game.
Okay.
I just don't know when.
And listen, we know your obsession with mid quarterbacks like Jimmy G. That's a real thing. And you know what? That's fine.
I love wins.
He's a winner.
He's a big win guy. Quarterback wins guy.
Big W's.
Not a stat.
Speaking of that, let's go to Baker. How about that?
Yeah.
Guy wins according to Broder's take on it.
Whoa.
So I want to.
Don't put words. My name ain't Dick, so keep it out your mouth.
I want to ask you, Broder, because we talked about Baker, and he's having a career year. I mean, he's highest completion percentage of his career. His touchdown interception ratio to start the season is pretty impressive. But there's a part of if you look at the Bucs team, Broder, and you think what part of this team is the biggest question mark, you got to put Baker in there. So to you, do you think this is the week where Baker, he's going to Baker? Because I think that could very well happen with this defense. Because Baker's been starting really well, but the only good defense he played, two of them, one being New Orleans in the season opener. And you know how hard it is, season opener. There's no film on Baker in Tampa. But the next good defense they played, Philly, crap the bed.
Yeah.
And I think he could do the same thing against the Lions this week.
Yeah, I think they need to make him look like the Baker of the old to increase their chances, obviously. But they need Baker, or I think the defensive plan should be to have Baker beat you in the pocket.
There you
go. Baker's actually he's at one of the top in the NFL, I think, in passer rating when he's pressured. So he's one of those guys who can improvise. He's when he gets out of the pocket, when things break down, he's one of the best quarterbacks at making things happen, finding these receivers, finding Godwin, finding Mike Evans when he's able to escape pressure. So it's going to be, to me, a lot. How much pressure can Aiden, Charles Harris, some of the edge rushers bring on him, but also the containment of those guys to keep him in the pocket, to Lee McNeil and Benito Jones and Buggs to keep him in that pocket, so his arm has to beat you without him escaping and making things happen on the fly. So I do think we're going to see the Baker of old a little bit more. It's how much can the Lions exploit that, I think is a huge key, because despite Tampa not being the best running team yet, they're committed to it. They want to use Rachaad White. They want to run it behind Tristan Wirfs and my guy Cody Mauch out of North Dakota State. Let's go. So they're going to try. If we can shut down that run defense like we have been, I think we will again. It's going to be about making it hard on Baker.
A side note for that, too, speaking of the defensive line, can I get an update on Josh Pascal? What's going on with him? When's he coming back?
Yeah, so he looked, my medical perspective, I'm not a doctor, not a medical professional. He was working on the side with Jahmyr Gibbs yesterday, working with the trainer, actually with James Mitchell, too, which may actually be more important this week if Sam Laporta isn't there. But Josh Pascal, he looked further ahead than I expected him to at this point. I thought it was going to be more of a 6, 7, 8 week injury. He's back on the field and running and moving. So I think he could be back sooner than later. It's whether they decide, do they bring him back before the bye week? Like, do they get him back next? I don't think it'll be this weekend, but Do they bring him back against the Ravens on Monday Night Football?
I would love that.
Or do they give him that extra 10, 12 days with that bye week before the Chargers? We'll see what their strategy is. It appears like the Lions staff is being more conservative with injuries this year. If there's any concern, maybe we're going to hold the player out, but we'll see. The fact that he's getting ready to come back is optimistic. I know you're a big Pascal fan.
Yeah.
I am too. I think he could be huge for this defense.
Yeah, I do. Another part of it, too, that I've been kind of wondering, and I talked with John Macaron about this yesterday, but you were most recently down at Allen Park. What's going on with Broderick Martin? How's he coming along? Because I know people are excited for him. This defense doesn't really need him at the moment, but just an update on how he's doing.
And I think that's a reason why they've been able to be patient with Broderick Martin. Actually, John Macaron was able to ask it was Aaron Glenn yesterday, able to ask Aaron Glenn about his development, what they're working on with Broderick, and he was very optimistic. He says Broderick's, for the most part, right where they expect him to be, right where they want him to be. He's improving his lateral quickness. He's improving his hand placement, which was a lot of these things they wanted to see out of him. Early in training camp, he was getting a little too high rushing the quarterback, defending the run. So they're seeing these little things out of him, and he appears to be one of those guys who's always asking questions. He's relying on Bugs and Benito Jones and some of those veterans, Ali McNeil, to just learn the game more. I mean, he's raw. I know they traded a lot to go up and get him at the end of the third round, but I do believe that they still have a lot of optimism that he's going to be a contributor. Whether that happens in the second half of the year or not is still to be determined, but the way the rush defense is playing right now, they can be patient with him.
Yeah, and he's going up against this offensive line in practice. I didn't even think about that, dude, the experience he gets. But, Sam, what do you got?
All right, so you mentioned something earlier about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wanting to establish the run. They can want to all they want, but they can't, and they haven't all year. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Rashad White and that running game behind Cody Mock, who you just love, right? And all right, I'm sorry. And Tristan,
I love Flannel.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But obviously, their best offensive lineman is Tristan Wirfs. But the question is, do you think the Lions, who have had a great running defense this year and have shut down much better rushing attacks, should have any trouble slowing down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers running game?
No.
Okay.
No, I think they're actually going to dominate the running game, but I think it just needs to be a priority. They can't just lean on the fact that they've been good. They can focus on other things. They still need to make sure to shut down their identity. That is part of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' identity. Todd Bowles and that offensive group, they want to run the ball. They're committed to it. Whether they can do it or not is another story. I do think the Lions are going to shut them down, but it needs to be a priority. They need to make sure to take that out before they focus on Baker.
And one more kind of like injury update, brother. Speaking of last week, Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he was a surprise to everybody. See him doubtful on Saturday, made everybody want to throw their phone at the wall. What is the expectations for him this Sunday? Is he going to play? If he plays, full workload, limited? Kind of the same thing I asked you with Amon-Ra.
Yeah, I think I gotta hold back one more day to see how he looks today in practice. See what they say about him in the press conference. Because yesterday was the first day we saw him back moving around. He was doing these drills with Josh Pascal, and he doesn't look injured. He looks like he's just getting back into shape, and it was an ankle injury, right? So I don't think it's a major injury. I don't know what his snap count's going to look like against Tampa.
It is a hamstring, right? So you got to be cautious with
hamstring.
that.
Yes, yeah.
So it's kind of the Sam Laporta, but of course Gibbs has had a week to recover. But you don't want he's not the size and build of Sam Laporta, right. So you just got to be a little careful there. But hopefully we get to see him. Yeah. But the good news is if you don't, I mean, you draft him 12th, but you still have Craig Reynolds, who can do a damn good job behind this offensive line. So it is what it is. But Broder, I appreciate you, man. Again, you can check Broder out. His articles on WoodwardSports.com. Woodward Knights, you guys are crushing.
Thank you.
Booner, Broder, Jalen, and Nick, the boys, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. I'll tell you what, their show was way better than whatever the hell I saw on Thursday Night Football. So,
oh, my God.
Yeah, it was bad. And I picked the Broncos to only lose by 3, and I was wrong.
We have a special guest tonight, too. JB Smooth is going to be joining us.
Smooth!
Yeah, baby!
Yeah. JB, take care. Hey, I got one. Listen, I don't ask for much. Take care of my guy, JB.
Oh, dude.
Okay, JB.
I got you. That man is goated.
All right, JB
can take care of himself.
JB will get all the
There's
respect.
Brian Branch in there.
Yeah, JB. He's the GOAT.
I'll hold it down for you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Love JV. All right. Appreciate you, Broder. Again, you can check him out Woodward Nights, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. every single weekday here on Woodward Sports Network. Let's go to break. When we get back, we got our final score predictions. We won't ask Broder. You can find his out later on his show.
Yep.
See, I learned I tried to get it out of you. I tried to get out of you last week, and you didn't. You were good. You're a professional. You're a pro. But first, I got to tell you about our friends from, I guess, Planet Fitness, right? Or Feldman. What do we want to go with this?
We'll do Feldman first.
All right.
Feldman.
Tell me about Feldman. All right, Jeff, I will. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer with over 18 locations. There's a Feldman Chevrolet dealership in your backyard. Visit FeldmanAuto.com to find the location nearest to you. Catch Woodward Sports Network live from Feldman Chevrolet in Novi every other Monday.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Glorious. You heard the ad lib there. I'll tell you what, Glorious, after this Sunday, expected a victory. Smoked down with some Glorious cannabis. Had the Honolulu Blue strain there. You can see it on the screen if you're watching. If you're listening, well, I can only describe it to you. It's got a freaking lion on the bottle, dude. Like, this is legit. And I'm telling you right now, watching the Lions, you're smoking Honolulu Blue, maybe even smoking that Bucks pack. Why not? Check it out. Find them at Dispo Dispensary for 25% off. Check them out online at www.gloriouscanna.com.
Check them out.
Glorious. All right, we're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It's time for game predictions. You know what that means. 9:30 every Friday, we give our game predictions if the Lions play on Friday or on Sunday, of course. Let's get into it, Sam Flannel. I'll start with you. Get a little quick little summary of how you think the game's going to go, and then let me hear your final score.
All right, so I haven't really shown this side of me this week, but I just have to because you know how I feel about Baker Mayfield.
Let it fly.
Detroit Lions, please do not lose to Baker fucking Mayfield. I understand that this game is going to be tough, and it's not the end-all be-all, and there's a lot more to a team than just Baker Mayfield and the quarterback. I mean, I say that all of the time, but here's the reality. The Detroit Lions should have 0.0 trouble stopping the Tampa Bay run game. It's Rachaad White. It's Cody Mock. Tristan Wirfs I like, but their offensive line besides him, I think, is pretty mediocre at best. It's just Tristan Wirfs and the Funky Bunch, pretty much. And the Lions have the 3rd best run defense in the NFL. I think that Baker Mayfield is going to be forced to try to beat you by himself. And this is where, if you are the Detroit Lions, if you're that pass rush, you need to just get after and harass and sack Baker Mayfield at least a couple of times and at least provide constant pressure. This is another game where I believe Aiden Hutchinson furthers his case for Defensive Player of the Year. I believe he gets to Baker Mayfield at least once. I believe he gets at least a sack and maybe 5 quarterback pressures. I'd like to Aleem McNeil to continue his stellar play. Maybe get a big game out of John Kaminsky. And then offensively, I know that the Bucs defense provides some challenges, but this is one where I just think they're going to grind it out. They're going to get an early lead, and they're going to force the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be one-dimensional, and Baker Mayfield is going to go back to what he has been for a lot of his career, which is terrible and a turnover machine. So give me Lions 24, Buccaneers 10. Fuck Baker Mayfield. Fuck Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, well, just like the Broncos fans tried to let Russ cook last night, he burnt the dish. And I think this Baker in the kitchen is going to burn another dish because the Lions are the better football team. I do not believe in trap games if you're a great football team. The 49ers, you think they were looking at the Dallas Cowboys as a trap game? They walked in there and smacked them around like the little brother they are. So I'll tell you one thing.
Little cousin.
Little cousin. That's a better way to describe it. The Lions are going to do that against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're a far better football team. They have the advantage at essentially every position. There's a couple positions you could argue, but better at quarterback. Wide receiver, they lose that. But regardless, every other position, I'm taking the Lions. Give me the Detroit Lions going into Tampa and beating them. Now, it's not a blowout, though. I'm not going that far. I do think...
Going to be a Chiefs-Broncos prediction here?
No, not that ugly. Goff's better than Russ. He is at this point. But I'll tell you what. I think this game is close. It comes down to the last possession. Goff leads them on a game-winning field goal drive, 23-20. They win off Riley Patterson's leg. That's what I think
You
happens.
think it's going to require a game-winning drive?
I do.
I disagree. I think David Montgomery. I think this first quarter, maybe the Bucs start out hot, but I just don't see them having a consistent game plan to go down the field on this Detroit Lions defense, especially if Mike Evans is 100%. I think we're going to see a lot of what we saw in Green Bay. David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds. I think they're just going to control the clock. I don't think there's a way that Tampa Bay can stop them. I like their front seven. I think they're very good. But the Lions' front five is elite. It is elite. And when you have Jared Goff, the way that he's calling that offense, able to audible at the line of scrimmage, he's going to be able to make adjustments on the fly. And the chemistry when you do that is buzzing right now. I think the Lions, they have an identity. I think Tampa Bay right now, they're a solid team, but they don't have an identity right now, especially offensively. I think this is a game where they're really going to get smacked in the face. And the 3-1 Buccaneers, they're going to be 3-2, and they're just going to have like a welcome to earth moment where it's like, all right, maybe this really is just like an 8-9 win team. And I think we're going to see the difference between a 12-13 win team, in my opinion, and an 8-win team. I just think there's a clear level of talent and coaching in this, and it's going to show. I'll go 31 to, I won't go 31 because I'll go 28-17.
I knew it was only a matter of time before my opinion just pissed off everybody because it was a close game. I see this one. Eric says, what? Jeff, they trust the kicker to win the game? Bold take, bro. And Eric, I actually agree that is a bold take.
Riley Patterson's been fine. Stop with all the kicker nonsense.
Well, hold on. This
bro.
one, Carnage says, terrible prediction by Jeff. Wow. Are you appalled because I picked the Lions to win by 3? Guys, I mean, this is the NFL. I mean, like we talked about today with the Chiefs. Are the Chiefs much better than the Broncos? Yes, they only won by 11.
Right.
Like, these things happen in the NFL, and I think you're on the road. It's a good defense. If the Lions go out there and smack them and put up 30-plus and hold the Bucs to 6 points, like, okay, I'll shut up. I just think the Buccaneers will be in the football game, especially if Mike Evans is healthy.
Your hero, Baker Mayfield, leading them into battle.
Why does it got to be my hero?
Your hero.
He
Your
stinks.
hero.
He stinks.
Apparently not.
What?
This is one of the top defenses in the NFL. It's going to be a close game. He's going to, if Jared Goff doesn't put a game-winning drive, Baker Mayfield can come out with the W.
But guess what? I said Jared Goff will.
That's facts. That's facts. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm just saying.
I mean, here's the reality, and this is where a lot of the people in the chat lose me, and we can all kind of come together on this one. Jeff Iafrate picked the Lions to win.
Yep.
This is the NFL. This is a road game against a division winner.
I know. How dare I?
I know, like, how dare he? I will be honest. I picked the Lions in a blowout, probably to a lot of your guys' surprise, but I will admit, I will get on the stand right now and say my hatred for Baker Mayfield plays a big role in that. There is an element of heart over head because I am out for blood whenever I see Baker Mayfield on the field. And it wouldn't surprise me if they knock him out of the game. I'm not saying I'm wishing for it. I never wish on injury, but here's the thing. It's not just heart over head because is it outside the realm of possibility for Baker Mayfield to have that kind of vintage Carolina or even Cleveland game where he just looks terrible? Is that really outside the realm of possibility?
No.
I mean, Mike Evans, he may be out or he may be hampered. I think that will hurt him as well. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they can't run the football worth a damn. And the Detroit Lions, they stop the run pretty damn good. So there is some heart to head, but I also versus head. But I also, if you want to pick the Lions in a close victory, it's the NFL. It's not about style points.
Well, hold on a second.
Jeff Mayfield has to say something.
No. Jeff Mayfield, no. What was Ryan
Baker
says?
Iafrate.
No. And Ryan says, Jeff, stop sucking off Baker. Come on, bro.
Jesus.
What did I say about?
You're trolling.
Jeff is planting the Baker flag.
No, I'm
the
not.
Woodward
Dude,
Sports
Lucas,
Studio.
I swear to gosh, you're don't do this. Don't do this.
You're gonna come back on Monday with a bandana holding up the hair.
Didn't I just go through yesterday why I think Baker's going to come back down to earth? And I went through the stats and why I think
like Baker too a little bit.
Okay, let's go to break. That's disrespect. That's out of pocket. All right, we're going to break. Yeah, now I'm pissed off. All right, let's go to break.
Now I'm mad.
I'm mad. All right,
you got Planet
sick of
Fitness
it.
though.
Jeff like Mayfield almost as much as Sam like. Okay, I'm going to break. Sam likes Mahomes as much as I like Baker. Let me hear about our friends from Premier Pet.
Of course.
No, Planet Fitness.
Okay, Planet Fitness.
That's you, Jeff. That's you. It's where you need to go after this segment.
Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone where anybody can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. I'll tell you what, Baker doesn't work on his fitness goals. Dude, that's dad bod. Anyway, Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, full body workout, and just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all this for just $1 down and $10 a month, no commitment. Now through October 13th, $1 down and $10 a month, no commitment. Check out Planet Fitness, $10 a month.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Academy Award! I'll tell you about them.
Are you going to tell us?
Yeah. State-of-the-art sports dome field house has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field that can also be used for 7-on-7 football. I absolutely torch Lucas on that field, no doubt.
What the fuck are you talking about?
AM and PM latchkey, small classroom sizes, free breakfast and lunch, academic games, and K-8 athletics. Lucas wouldn't make a single team at this school, but regardless, now accepting new enrollment. Go to academyofwarren.net for more information.
What time is it, Jeff? What time is it?
Oh, check the time, baby. So what's trending with Lucas?
Yeah,
Lucas, what do you got for us?
Lucas, you know what's about to be what's trending with Lucas next Wednesday? We're going to Academy of Warren. We're going to be on that
really?
7-on-7. Yeah, me and you. We got a date now.
Oh, God.
We got a date.
Oh,
we'll get a cameraman. We're going down to that 7-on-7 field turf. We're going one-on-one in basketball, and we're rolling it back. Talking out your goddamn neck. But anyways, you know who else was talking out their neck? Apparently Jerry Judy. And
he was on one.
Steve Smith wasn't having it. This was we'll play what Jerry Judy was on one. Okay, first of all, let's put it like this way. This was Jerry Judy before the game last night. Might be going through a little manic episode anyways, but Steve Smith, he put him in a body bag before the game, and this is what he had to say. And let me tell you, Jerry Judy was not happy after the game because Steve Smith was proven right.
We had some company on that one. You know, I don't know if Russ saw Jerry Judy on that. Did you see him?
Listen, this is a time for me where when I used to play, I would engage and I love that. But right now, I'm 44 years old. I don't need to have this drama, and I also don't need to have any problems on the sideline for me doing something that will jeopardize not just me, but him. And I'll be honest, and I have to say it just like this. One of the biggest problems we have in the media, especially as a young black man, is sometimes black on black crime. I'm not going to participate in that. I'm not going to engage where the national media can see two young African-American men acting like we ain't got no sense. He didn't like what I said, that's fine. I wanted to talk to him. He didn't like it, so we move on. But I'm not going to lose my job, and two, I'm not going to disrespect my family by showing that I have not matured and handle my business the way I should handle my business. We got a flight to catch to London. We got things to do. We ain't got time to be watching a dude do nothing. Back to you guys.
Yeah, Steve! So that was one part. There was another part that it was just a little bit longer, but
the one where he was calling him a jag, it's hilarious. He goes, "He's a jag, just a guy," and I'm like, Steve Smith's spitting fast.
Yeah, and
I love Steve Smith.
And Judy kind of like dissed Steve Smith after that. And I'm telling you right now, Steve Smith is probably the last dude that I would ever want to piss off if he's behind a fucking microphone. That man,
he can chirp.
The top tier trash talker during his day. Like during his heyday, Steve Smith not only was a talented wide receiver, top 10 wide receiver of all time in my opinion, but he was a dog. Dog. That's not the man you want to be chirping at.
No. Sam Flannel, how is he overrated? Tell me.
No, he's not overrated. Steve Smith is not overrated. I don't know if I put him top 10 of all time, but when you look at the numbers, Steve Smith has put up a hell of a career. I mean, Jerry Jeudy, is he jumped the shark at this point? I know he hasn't always had the best quarterback play and the best offenses around him, and he's had some injury issues, but is Jerry Jeudy, is he ever going to reach his potential? Because I thought he was going to be great.
I was with you. I mean, you watched Jerry Jeudy at Alabama. I thought he was the next great Alabama wide receiver, the Julio Joneses of the world. I thought Jerry Jeudy was going to become that. It just, for whatever reason, it just hasn't panned out, and Steve Smith called him out on that, and he was mad about that. It's like, hey, man, if you stink, you're going to be called trash or a jag. Just a guy. Which is fair.
A tier 3 wide receiver.
I mean, Josh Reynolds is going to do this year what Jerry's been doing his career in Denver.
That's facts.
So, is Jerry, technically Josh is, and not disrespectful, but he's kind of just a guy, and he's having a great year so far. So, Jerry, step your game up.
Josh Reynolds has looked better this year than Jerry Jeudy has ever looked for a moment in his career.
Spot on.
And I'm dead. And I don't take any pleasure in this. I was high on Jerry Jeudy, as you said, Lucas. He was a Biletnikoff Award winner at Alabama, and to me, he stood out even amongst Devontae Smith and Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, he did. Even with CeeDee Lamb, it was a big discussion. Like, are you going with Jerry Jeudy or are you going with CeeDee Lamb? And I was on the Jeudy bus. I thought the man was going to be like Calvin Ridley, like a clone of him. But a guy, speaking of buses, a lot of people are hopping on the Jared Goff bus right now. We won't play all 2 minutes of this. We'll just play the Jared Goff point. But our man, Dan Orlovsky, he took to the stand, and he was vouching for Jared Goff yesterday.
Let's go.
Jared Goff is playing top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now. The Lions are 4-1. He's got 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. By the way, the only one loss that he had, he threw for 330 yards at home versus the Seattle Seahawks. The diversity of their offense absolutely helps. He's probably one of the best play-action passing quarterbacks in all of football. He's got a passer rating that is well over 100. Jared Goff has reemerged as a guy that not only is one of the best quarterbacks in football, but a guy that Detroit is going to have to give another contract to. He's playing outstanding. Number 4.
Oh, the rest of them are pretty spot on. There's nothing to agree. I think you had Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes,
but top 5,
Justin Herbert, top 5. What are you guys' reaction to hearing that?
I don't hate it. I do. I mean, he's top 5, top 6 last year in multiple categories. He's on track to do the same thing. The only thing that Jared Goff, and this is a lot of quarterbacks, is just turning the ball over. But for a guy that went as long as he did without turning the ball over, I really don't think there's much that Jared can do better. He's just playing great football right now. He's in control of this offense, and he's playing with a lot of confidence. So how Jared's playing right now is exactly what the Lions need to be contenders. I believe that. So shout out to Jared Goff.
I don't have a problem with him being considered a top 5 quarterback this year, especially given the fact that last season, I think we would all say that the only quarterback who was definitively better than him last season was Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts has kind of fallen off a little bit. Honestly, if we're talking about NFC quarterbacks this year, you'd have to put Jared Goff and Brock Purdy as probably top 2, as crazy as that is to sound. But I just got one more thing to say about that. Was Josh Allen ahead of him on that list?
Yeah, I think he had Josh Allen 1.
Okay,
he had Josh Allen number 1.
So are the
4 was Patrick Mahomes.
What would Neil Rule say to that? To Dan Orlovsky?
Ooh, what would Neil Rule and his minions say?
Ooh, we should have pulled that up. Spenny, and we'll do that on Monday for 9:40. That was gold.
I'm sorry. If I'm being real here, that was a 10-7 round by Spenny.
Yeah, I was with
that was a 10-7. And I love Neil. I'm not even just doing this as a bit or anything. Neil, it's a tough one. Yeah, he took an L yesterday.
So for context, Neil and Spenny were going at it about is Jared Goff a good quarterback? Yes or no? Is it because of the weapons around him? I think both can be true. And I was with Neil for the whole re-signing thing, but then Neil said, if you drop Jared Goff in Buffalo right now, they'd be a better team. And that's where you lose me. You can love Jared Goff. Yeah. That doesn't mean you can just tear down the elite quarterbacks of the NFL, because Jared Goff's this year, if you want to say he's top 5, I'm not going to be mad at you, but he ain't top 3. He's not top 1, and Josh Allen this year is top 1.
Hater!
Yeah, hater. You're a hater, Lucas.
You
know what? We have a Goff defender here, Matt Broder.
Yeah,
what do you think, Matt Broder? Would you take the Neil Rule and Spenny argument is if you put Jared in Buffalo and put Josh here, he'd be more confident in Buffalo with Jared Goff.
Yeah,
given how they're currently constructed.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Okay, and you heard it from that's Broder himself.
Yeah.
That's that. You said Jared could be a dark horse MVP.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
hey, that's you say it means more. It does.
And if we're being honest, Jared Goff still is a dark horse MVP candidate. I'm not saying he's going to win
That's
it,
right.
and this is coming from somebody who gets called a hater, but he is a top 5 quarterback this year.
They put out, I believe it was PFF, and they have Goff right now as like the 6th highest odds in MVP voting right now.
Yeah, and by the way, the whole thing with Jared too is last year he was the second best quarterback in the NFC, I believe.
Yeah.
I think this year, I mean, Brock Purdy's playing good football, so I would put him in that conversation. I think stop it. That game, you can't deny that game against the Cowboys. Like, man, that was a statement game for Brock, and I think he's probably the best quarterback in the NFC right now. But Jared's like 2 again, or he's in that conversation once again. So shout out to Jared Goff. You got anything else for us, Lucas?
No, that'll be it. Just a quick little. I don't have a graphic or anything for it, but shout out Alex Anzalone's parents. They were kind of stuck in that whole just terrible situation going on right now in the Middle East, and they were stuck, but they're on their way home.
Woo!
Think they're probably already home by now, but all's good with them. So happy to see that. Shout out Alex Anzalone and his family. So always happy to hear that.
That is huge news.
Shout out.
I mean what's going on over there? It's
fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, it is. It
Scary
really is.
times.
It makes me very appreciative that I live in the country I live in. 100%. Let's go to break. When we get back, we'll get to mailbag. Get your questions ready. I know we're into mailbag a little bit, but first, I got to tell you about our friends over at the Hamlin Pub. Because, listen, have you ever wanted to be at a bar where you're known as a regular? Whether you're enjoying half-off pizza on a Thursday or our game day specials available all during Michigan sports and NFL games, head to one of Hamlin Pub's 7 locations and experience where everyone is a regular. Visit a location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports. Woodward and Main Street. The Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live every home game for the official Lions VIP tailgate party. It's at Eastern Market in Shed number 5, and it is always a bash, starting at 9:30 a.m. until game time. The official Lions tailgate is back and better than ever. How would you like to pregame it with Woodward Sports and be treated like a VIP? Food, beverages, and entertainment all included. Get your tickets online today at bullseyeeventgroup.com or win some from Woodward Sports today. Just subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on IG, and direct message Lions VIP.
Appreciate you guys joining the program here on the Morning Woodward Show. Again, we appreciate every single one of you. You could have been anywhere this morning, but you're with us. If you could hit the like button, we'd appreciate it a lot. I want to get to mailbag now. Questions are firing in. Morning show mailbag. Let's get to it. Cordell says, my question is, Jeff, how does Mayfield taste? Okay.
Jesus.
That's out of pocket. What's up with the... Okay, this is what you did, Lucas.
I do it. You did this to yourself.
What did I say about Baker that made everyone assume I love him? What did I say?
Goff lead a game-winning drive against the Buccaneers.
That's against the Buccaneers defense.
Well, they got to put up points on the other side.
It's 20.
You got faith in Baker Mayfield. That's where it's coming from.
Jordan Love scored 20.
No.
What?
No.
That's a fact.
This is Baker Mayfield we're talking about.
I know. I'm saying, but that's my point. Like Jordan Love stinks, Baker stinks, but it doesn't mean they can't score 17 to 20 points.
No 20.
Okay.
did it to yourself.
How does Mayfield taste? I just talked yesterday about
Clip it, JB.
I swear.
Clip it, JB.
No, do not clip that, JB. That is out of pocket.
So out of pocket, people.
That is out of pocket. For this question, too, and I want to read this one. Justin says, Mailbag, who's better, St. Brown or Diggs? I would take Diggs, but St. Brown's, like, if you do top 10 receivers, I think Diggs is probably front half, maybe 5 in that realm. I think St. Brown's like 6 or 7. It's not a big drop, but I do think I would give the edge to Stephon Diggs because he's been doing it for longer. I mean, he's coming off 1,500-yard seasons.
Yeah,
he's a dog.
I mean, many things can be true. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown, but this is where I think Lions fans, all of us Lions fans, maybe slightly overrate our players because there are levels to this. And Stephon Diggs is still there's a little bit of a gap between Stephon Diggs and Amon-Ra St. Brown. They're both top 10, but Steph Diggs is probably top 5.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's see, Carnage. This comment, Mailbag. How does a Chiefs fan and a Bucks fan end up hosting a Lions show? I swear.
It's a rematch of the Super Bowl,
look what you did, dude. Look what you did.
Not my fault.
I picked the Lions to win by 3, and I'm a Bucks fan.
All right. You just admitted it yourself.
How?
Clip it, JB.
How?
All right, Vitriolic Carnage. The Detroit Lions are finishing this season 16-1. They are not only going to win the Super Bowl, they are going to win it by such a dominant margin that they give them 2 Super Bowls in 1. Jared Goff is going to win the NFL MVP and the Super Bowl MVP. Aiden Hutchinson will have 25 sacks, including 10 forced fumbles. He will not only have 25 sacks and 10 forced fumbles, he will have 10 interceptions. When Cam Sutton is guarding you, he will allow a 0 passer rating. Did you know that's what's going to happen? He will allow 0 completions. Alex Anzalone and Derek Barnes will both get 150 tackles apiece. David Montgomery will set the rushing record that was set by Eric Dickerson. He will have 2,200. And not only that, with all that I just mentioned, Jared Goff will throw for 56 touchdown passes to break Peyton Manning's record. Are you happy now, Vitriolic Carnage? Do you hear how ridiculous I sound? If you say one thing that isn't like, oh my God, Lions, oh my God, everything is awesome and everything is wonderful, you guys get mad.
Well, here's the
Are you happy now?
Yeah.
Are you not entertained?
Here's the thing, though, Sam. Like, I didn't even. I could see if I picked the Bucks to win, maybe you could poke jokes at me. I picked them to lose. Like, I don't get how that even makes any sense. That's why I blame you, Lucas, because like I didn't say anything that indicated I'm a Bucks fan.
You alluded to things.
What did I say?
Baker Mayfield's your guy.
No, okay, yeah, you know what you're doing, you son of a bitch. You know exactly what you're doing. And you're feeding the people all this BS, all right? Okay, Baker Mayfield will Baker Mayfield, and he's going to stink this Sunday. But we'll see. I think the only thing I'm fearful of, if that, is the defense for the Buccaneers. Like, that's a legit defense. I'm not scared of Baker.
Okay.
I'm not scared of Baker Mayfield.
Backing down now. Your original statement, but
what was my original statement? Do you have the transcripts or no?
No, I'm sure JB could clip it. JB, did you just get it? Did you clip it already from what Jeff just said?
I got the timestamp.
Okay,
all right. Look at this comment too before we get out of here. Detroit Dabber, Mailbag Jeff, does Baker have his own toothbrush at your place? Okay, we're gonna end it here.
Let me just.
I have one Lucas mailbag. Because we were talking about it at the break, and I'm sure some people are interested. Frank Clark. Just released by the Broncos.
Ooh.
Any interest? Any interest from you fellas?
I want Frank Clark. That's a guy that I think his value increases in the postseason. You want a guy like that. He's played a lot of football games. He's played a lot of playoff games, and he's only 30 years old. He's not cooked. I mean, he had like 6 sacks, I believe, for the Chiefs last year with them. And because it's not working out with the Broncos, maybe he could work out with the Lions. Now the question is he a personality fit? I don't know him personally, but just from the football player, you can't never have enough guys on your defensive line. You just can't.
Yeah, I mean, Frank Clark, if you could get him on a cheap deal, I would be 100% okay with bringing him in. And yeah, Frank Clark, this is a team with the Lions that is going to get to the postseason. And Frank Clark, he is 3rd all-time in postseason sacks. Frank Clark. I mean, I understand that Frank Clark is a damn good player, but that still is surprising, and it still just shows how he has elevated his play in the postseason. So I think he could be valuable. And just one quick thing I want to mention, too, just that this is a little bit self-serving or maybe to give the people what they want a little bit. Paul Thomas keeps bringing up Patrick Mahomes' terrible red zone interception last night. That was awful. Terrible pick.
Jared Goff ain't throwing that pick.
I mean,
okay, here we go.
0 red zone interceptions from Jared Goff this season.
That is a fact.
He
that
did
is
throw
a fact.
one that directly led to Seattle Seahawks points, but nobody ever talks about that.
So did Patrick Mahomes against the Lions, I'm pretty sure, against the rookie, Brian.
And by the way, Mike Bell says, blessings to all. Have a prosperous day, gang. Shout out to you, Mike. Shout out to everybody for joining the show, for all the people I see every day in this chat. Easy says, Jeff loves the Bucks. Easy, I love you. And you guys are some sickos, man. The Lions are winning by 3, 23-20. That's my final score. If you don't like it, we'll get used to it. I'll see you Monday. Well, actually, I'll see you Sunday. Because Sunday Lions pregame show, I'll be hosting it. I have to check who I'm doing it. Oh, no, it's an away game. So I'll have the boys here. Lucas.
That'll be the squad.
Yeah, BMG, Booner. And then, of course, we'll have some special guests from the watch party as well. Come hang out on Sunday, Lions pregame, and then we'll see you guys Monday. Everybody have a great weekend, man. Seriously, I appreciate you guys. We have the best audience here on the network. And until then, Jeff Iafrate, Sam Flannel, JB Smooth, Matt Broder for joining us. And, of course, the man, the myth, the legend in the TD booth there, Lucas Klotz.
That is out.
We'll see you guys. Have a good weekend.